Chapter 339, The Popular Prison. 4. Lan Ming was stunned. Did he hear it wrong? What he heard was, "Goodbye, I won't see you out." Why was his treatment worse than that of the man in black just now? They actually started chasing him away so quickly. Boo-hoo, he was depressed. "Hey, why aren't you leaving yet?" Freak urged Lan Ming when he saw him standing there motionlessly like a fool. Alas! Lan Ming, who was wallowing in self-pity, sighed after coming back to his senses. No wonder that man in black almost vomited blood from anger. These two fellows indeed had the capital to anger someone to death. In fact, he was only one step slower than the man in black just now. Therefore, he had hidden in the dark. When he saw the man in black almost vomiting blood from anger, he laughed in his heart. But now that it was his turn to be despised, he couldn't laugh anymore. "I really came to save you," Lan Ming said helplessly. Alas! He could only accept it when he encountered these two troublesome people. "Why?" Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. "Because you're from my mystic association." "Is there a need to ask?" Lan Ming was depressed. These two people's thoughts were really. "So what?" "We didn't say we wanted you to save us," Leng Ruoxue said ungratefully. "Humph. I haven't had enough fun yet. How could I be saved?" "Then what was the point of playing?" "I'm being nosy, alright." Little ancestor. Lan Ming was speechless. He came to save them, but he was actually wrong. Boo-hoo, what was this? These two fellows were really difficult to deal with. Zhu Furong, who dared to provoke them, must have accumulated the bad luck of 8 lifetimes. "It's good that you know." Leng Ruoxue nodded. "How long do you intend to stay in the prison?" Lan Ming asked curiously after understanding. "I don't know. There's food and water here, and it saves money." "It's much better than staying at an inn," Leng Ruoxue said honestly. "Are you that poor?" Lan Ming rolled his eyes in disdain. "Yes, we have to think of a way to earn money." Leng Ruoxue pretended to be pitiful. "Ah. Have you thought of a way yet?" Lan Ming asked curiously. "Yes, I'll wait for the compensation from the city lord's mansion. I'll stay here and won't leave if I don't receive compensation," Leng Ruoxue said very seriously. As the saying went, it was easy to invite a god but difficult to send one away. "Okay, I support you," Lan Ming said very cooperatively as a few drops of cold sweat dripped down his forehead. He finally knew that he could provoke gods and ghosts but never these two fellows because they would definitely let the people who provoked them suffer a loss. "Thank you, President," Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. You're welcome. Just let me know if you need anything." "After all, you are mystics from my association," Lan Ming said in a very friendly tone. Leng Ruoxue became paranoid after hearing Lan Ming's words and asked bluntly, "One who is unaccountably solicitous is hiding evil intentions. President Lan, why are you being so good to us?" What goal can I have?" "You're registered in my association, so it's only right that I protect you," Lan Ming said matter-of-factly. "President Lan, don't bother lying in front of us. We aren't 3-year-old children. Just say it directly. If it's not too difficult, we can consider it. But your remuneration has to satisfy me," Leng Ruoxue said bluntly. Since you've mentioned it, I really have something. However, this has nothing to do with coming to save you," Lan Ming explained. He didn't want them to misunderstand that he wanted to save them to use them. "It doesn't matter if it's related. As long as your remuneration satisfies me, and it's within my capabilities, doing it won't be a loss," Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. After her brother and the others came out of seclusion, they would have to spend a lot more money, so she had to think of a way to earn more money. You don't have to worry about the remuneration. The last thing our mystic association needs is money," Lan Ming said. Alas! This was the first time he had seen a mystic like Leng Ruoxue who lacked money. "That's good. President Lan, what do you want us to do?" Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. There will be a competition between mystics in a month. I hope you can participate on behalf of the Windless Cities Mystic Association, Lan Ming explained. The rewards for the competition are very generous, he added. Oh, what are the rewards? Leng Ruoxue asked with interest. If the rewards were good, she would definitely participate. If not, then the remuneration would have to be generous. Otherwise, she wouldn't help. First place will receive a reward of 100 million purple coins and a physical reward. It will definitely satisfy you. Lan Ming knew what this little woman wanted, so he didn't beat around the bush. 100 million. The Mystic Association is indeed very rich. Leng Ruoxue praised. Well, I have to participate in this competition, but I'm only at the mystic level. What are my chances of winning if I participate in the competition? Leng Ruoxue continued asking. Don't worry. This competition only allows elementary mystics and below to participate. This is a competition to select talents for the Mystic Association, so the level of the mystics participating won't be too high. With your strength, it won't be a problem for you to be in the top 3, Lan Ming said confidently. President Lan, we are only mystics, but there are elementary mystics in the competition. So I'm really curious where your confidence comes from. Leng Ruoxue couldn't help asking. I've seen many mystics, but this is the first time I've seen someone as abnormal as you, Lan Ming said honestly. He had been thinking about this issue for the past few days, but he couldn't understand how someone with such abnormal talent could exist in the world. Thank you for the compliment. In fact, we're pretty average, Leng Ruoxue said very modestly. Lan Ming was speechless again. If you're ordinary, then what are others? Should they just die? Lan Ming calmed down and continued, by the way, what about your grandfather? You'll need at least 5 people to participate in the competition, so they need to participate too. Chapter 340, The Popular Prison, 5, I hid them in a safe place, Leng Ruoxue said mysteriously. That's good. Lan Ming was relieved. President Lan, let's talk about our remuneration now. Leng Ruoxue suggested. I won't treat you badly. Why are you in such a hurry? Lan Ming said with a face full of black lines. Alas. You're a full man who doesn't know the hunger of a hungry man. How can a rich person like you understand the pain of us poor people? Leng Ruoxue sighed with emotion from being poor. Isn't that too exaggerated? Lan Ming really didn't know what to say. I'm not exaggerating. We're really running out of money, Leng Ruoxue said seriously. You can calculate it yourself. We spent 500 purple coins on spiritual power conversion in your association. We've spent almost 2,000 purple coins from lodging, meals, and the city entrance fees over the past few days. That's 2,000 purple coins. It should be enough for ordinary people to live for several years, right? Leng Ruoxue said while counting seriously with her fingers. They had only been on the boundless heaven continent for a week, but Leng Ruoxue could feel the pinch from the expensive cost of living here. When she was on the Ling Feng continent, she had never been short of money. But after she arrived here, she found that the amethyst coins she brought from the Ling Feng continent were flowing like water, and there were so few of them now. Alas! Money. She needed to earn money. Alright, forget it. 10 million purple coins per person. That should be enough, right? Lan Ming interrupted Leng Ruoxue. No, Leng Ruoxue refused directly. My little ancestor, 10 million isn't a small sum. What else do you want? Lan Ming said weakly. Why is this girl so difficult to deal with? In the future, you are not allowed to charge my people for going to your guild to convert spiritual power. Moreover, you have to cover food and lodging from now until the competition ends. Leng Ruoxue raised her conditions. That's not a problem. But you still have other people. Lan Ming couldn't help asking. Yes, but they can't convert their spiritual power yet, so don't have any ideas about them, Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. Oh, I'll arrange a place for you to stay after you leave the prison, Lan Ming said with some disappointment. Then it's settled. President Lan, you can go back now. Leng Ruoxue began to chase him away after the discussion was over. You're so pragmatic. Then I'm leaving. Be careful. The Zhu family can do anything, Lan Ming reminded before leaving. Okay, got it. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Shuer, what should we do now? Freak asked curiously after Lan Ming left. Wait and see. I wonder if anyone else will come. Leng Ruoxue guessed. Probably not. We don't know many people here, Freak said with certainty. In that case, let's go to the city lord's mansion for a night tour. Leng Ruoxue suggested, her eyes shining with a mischievous light. Okay, let's go now. Freak said impatiently. Hee, causing trouble is the most enjoyable thing. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue nodded. They left the cell quietly under the cover of night. Freak, I just remembered something, Leng Ruoxue suddenly said on the street after leaving the prison. What's the matter? Freak asked in puzzlement. We don't know the location of the city lord's mansion. Leng Ruoxue said gloomily. Pig Furong didn't imprison them in the city lord's mansion but locked them in a prison in Windless City because she was afraid of being blamed by her father. Did you forget that we have a map? Hee. Freak reminded. Oh, I forgot about the map. Thanks to Freak's reminder, Leng Ruoxue remembered the map and took it out of the bracelet. Shuer, this is the city lord's mansion, right? Freak pointed at a very conspicuous red dot on the map. Yes, it doesn't seem too far away. Freak, let's go. Leng Ruoxue said. Okay. The two of them followed the directions on the map and quickly found the city lord's mansion. There were 2 guards guarding the front door of the city lord's mansion, so they turned to the back door. The back door was very small, and only one person could pass at a time. Moreover, not only was the back door not guarded, but it wasn't even locked, showing how arrogant this city lord was. Shuer, this city lord's mansion is quite luxurious. It's not inferior to an imperial palace. Freak sighed while standing outside the tall courtyard walls of the city lord's mansion. Yes, and this is only the city lord's mansion of a small city. Freak, looks like this city lord is very rich. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes glittered with interest. Shuer, we will be the rich ones if we rob him, Freak said evilly. Yes, that's what I was thinking too. The city lord's mansion of such a small city is actually living in such luxury. I really don't know how much of the people's hard-earned money he has embezzled. Freak, let's rob the rich to help the poor today. Leng Ruoxue said righteously. Ah. Of course, the poor referred to them. Yes, we must rob the rich to support the poor, that is us. Freak nodded heavily in agreement. Freak, let's go in. Leng Ruoxue said. Okay, Freak answered, and they sneaked into the city lord's mansion through the back door. After entering the city lord's mansion, Leng Ruoxue found a hidden and uninhabited corner and moved her grandfather and the others, who were already waiting impatiently, out of the bracelet. Her cute beasts also came out together. Of course, her beasts were all transformed. Otherwise, the city lord's mansion likely wouldn't be able to hold them. Feng Zhan, Charm, you have to take these beasts with you and be careful. Leng Ruoxue reminded. Although there were not many powerful experts in the city lord's mansion, it was still better to be careful. Chapter 341, The Popular Prison, 6, Master, don't worry. Well, be careful, Feng Zhan promised. Grandpa, you have to be careful too, Leng Ruoxue said. Okay, let's split up. Leng Qingtian nodded. Okay, let's go. As soon as Leng Ruoxue finished speaking, thousands of beasts scattered and ran in all directions. And Leng Qingtian and the others disappeared into thin air. Shuer, where are we going? Freak asked after Leng Qingtian and the others as well as the beasts left. Of course to rob first, Leng Ruoxue said matter-of-factly. She deliberately left Quill and Rise behind to help them rob. Hee hee, robbing is good. I like it. Freak smiled evilly and happily. Okay, Quill, go find where the good things are hidden in the city lord's mansion, Len Ruoshua ordered. Yes, master. Quill flew away after Rise cast an invisibility spell on him. He flew back a moment later. Master, I found it, Quill said excitedly. Hee hee, there were indeed many treasures in the city lord's mansion. Quill, bring us there, Len Ruoshua ordered. Master, come with me. Rise then cast an invisibility spell on Len Ruoshua and Freak. After that, the two of them walked toward the treasury together. After arriving at the treasury, Len Ruoshua and Freak naturally robbed it unceremoniously. Then Len Ruoshua made a little mischief and left the words, "The great sage, heaven's equal was here," before the two of them swaggered out of the treasury. After exiting the treasury, Len Ruoshua let Ball Ball out. Ball Ball, look for treasures. Len Ruoshua ordered. Okay, big sister. Ball Ball closed his big eyes and sensed for a while before opening them again. Big sister, I feel something good in the northwest direction. Ball Ball reported his findings to Len Ruoshua. Northwest? I wonder where it is. Freak, let's go take a look. Len Ruoshua said. Let's go. Freak pulled Len Ruoshua, and the two walked toward the northwest. Master, I knocked out another guard, Rise, who had been having a good time along the way, said happily while wagging his little tail. Amazing. Len Ruoshua caressed Rise's head and praised him. Alas. It seemed like my beasts are all bored to death. After receiving Len Ruoshua's praise, Rise worked even harder and knocked out anyone he saw. Big sister, this is the place. Ball Ball pointed at a courtyard not far from them. Freak, this should be the courtyard of a certain young lady of the Zhu family. Let's go in and take a look. Len Ruoshua suggested. The environment here was quiet, and the courtyard was planted full of fresh flowers. It was definitely the residence of a certain young lady of the Zhu family. Okay, I hope it's not Zhu Furong's courtyard, Freak said with some disgust. Ha! It's better if it's hers. I'm just about to look for her. Len Ruoshua said with a light smile. Their other purpose for coming tonight was for Pig Furong. After the two humans and three beasts entered the courtyard, Ball Ball flew directly toward the flower bed. After a while, he flew back, and his little paws were holding a small red flower. Big sister, this is for you. Ball Ball handed the flower in his paw to Len Ruoshua and then lay on her shoulder obediently. Len Ruoshua looked at the palm-sized red flower in her hand. This flower was an abnormally bright red that resembled fire. Moreover, the fragrance was very strong. But she didn't recognize this flower. Len Ruoshua sent the unknown flower into the bracelet and handed it to Qingju. Freak, let's go take a look over there. Len Ruoshua pointed at the room in the courtyard. Okay. Freak nodded, and the two humans and three beasts headed straight for the room. Before approaching the room, they heard strange sounds coming from inside. The two of them pressed their ears against the window. Other than some strange sounds, there were also voices coming from inside. Len Ruoshua and Freak pricked up their ears curiously to listen. In the room, a young man and woman were making love, doing the most primitive kind of exercise. During the break, a beautiful girl looked at the naked man beside her and asked, Prosperity, did you just tell me that second sister likes a man? Yes, second miss took a liking to a man and locked him in a cell. But that man has a wife and doesn't like second miss at all. Tonight, second miss even ordered her subordinates to go to the cell. She originally wanted to plot for the two of them to escape from the prison, but who knew that the two of them actually refused to follow me, the young man said gloomily and then rolled over to press the girl under him again. Prosperity, look at how anxious you are. Let me rest for a while, the girl said with some dissatisfaction. Third miss, I missed you so much, the young man said aggrievedly. Prosperity, answer my question honestly first. The girl pouted coquettishly. Yes, please ask, 3rd Mississippi. I will tell you everything I know, the man named Prosperity promised. Prosperity, do you think that man will agree to second sister? Zhu Yanrong asked worriedly. Probably not, Prosperity said uncertainty. In fact, he knew very well that the man didn't care about the second miss at all. That's good. Zhu Yanrong was relieved after hearing what Prosperity said. There was nothing she could do. If her second sister married in advance, her father would definitely marry her to that old man, so she had to ruin her second sister's plan. 3rd Miss, why don't you want second miss to get married? If second miss marries someone, wouldn't there be no one who can snatch President Lon from you? Prosperity asked in puzzlement. It was not a secret in Windless City that the 3 Zhu sisters liked President Lon of the Mystic Association. Second sister isn't my match, but if she marries someone, father will have to marry me to that old man from the Sun family, so of course I have to stop second sister from marrying. Prosperity, you have to help me. Zhu Yanrong wheedled. Prosperity was her second sister's trusted aide, but she had seduced him, which was why she knew her second sister's affairs like the back of her hand. Chapter 342, The Unlucky City Lord's Mansion, 1. 3rd Miss, don't worry. I will definitely help you. Prosperity immediately forgot about his master when he saw the beauty acting coquettishly. Prosperity, I know you're the best, Zhu Yanrong said happily. At the same time, she was very pleased with her honey trap. 3rd Miss, I'm willing to go through hell and high water for you, so you have to reward me well. Prosperity said with a perverted look and then began attacking the city walls again. Outside the room. The Pig sisters are quite friendly. Leng Ruoxua sighed as she looked at the full moon hanging in the sky. Yes. Freak nodded in agreement. Swear, let's leave this place. Freak continued. He didn't want to stay here anymore. The sounds coming from the room were really too unpleasant. Okay, let's go check out somewhere else, Leng Ruoxua said with a light smile. But just as she finished speaking, she heard a sharp scream in the distance. Ah! There's a snake. Then there was a loud sound. Leng Ruoxua and Freak exchanged glances. Did someone discover Confound? Leng Ruoxua guessed. Discover? I think he's deliberately scaring people, Freak said in realization. Schwer's beasts were very well behaved in front of her, but in fact, each one was more scheming than the other, and they had many ways to prank people. Ah. It doesn't matter. We're here to cause trouble anyway, Leng Ruoxua said nonchalantly with 2 drops of cold sweat on her forehead. Schwer, let's go somewhere else. Freak said. Okay, let's find Pig Furong's residence. Hee, we have to let her know that her sister is scheming against her. Leng Ruoxua said with a naughty smile. She already decided to sow discord until the end. Moreover, she had given Pig Lianrong a small gift before leaving. Schwer, you're so cute. Freak suddenly hugged Leng Ruoxua affectionately and kissed her fiercely. I'm doing this for their own good. Sisters have to love and protect each other. Leng Ruoxua said without any shame. Yes, sisters shouldn't become enemies, Freak agreed. The 2 of them left Pig Lianrong's residence and searched each courtyard. Schwer, this courtyard is the last one, Freak reminded. Okay, let's go in and take a look. Leng Ruoxua said. They had already checked several courtyards, but none of them was the residence of Pig Furong. After Leng Ruoxua and Freak entered the courtyard, they went directly to the outside of the room, leaned against the window, and listened to the movements inside. That man seems to be the steward of the city lord's mansion. Leng Ruoxua heard a familiar voice coming from the room. Steward? The steward of the city lord's mansion lives in a good place, Freak said mockingly. This was obviously the residence of a woman. Moreover, according to his guess, the person staying here was not one of the daughters of the city lord's mansion but the city lord's concubine, and she was probably very favored. The woman inside seems to be the city lord's concubine, Leng Ruoxue said after listening to the conversation inside. It seems like everyone in the city lord's mansion is unwilling to be left out. The steward climbed into the city lord's favored concubine's bed while one of the city lord's daughters is seducing her elder sister's guard. "Huh, what a mess." Freak smiled with contempt. "I'll leave some gifts for them too." Leng Ruoxue said evilly and sent a trace of her green mystic power through the door crack. "Hee, the city lord will definitely be very grateful to us when he sees this scene tomorrow," Freak said excitedly. "Of course. He was made a cuckold for so long." Then Leng Ruoxue and Freak left. "Shuer, let's go find Grandpa and the others," Freak suggested, wondering how Shuer's grandfather and the others were doing. "Okay." Leng Ruoxue nodded. Then the 2 humans and 3 beasts went to look for Leng Qingtian and the others. After searching for a while, they finally found Leng Qingtian, Old Man, and the others in the courtyard of the main house. "Grandpa, what are you doing?" Leng Ruoxue called out softly after entering the courtyard of the main house. When she saw her grandfather and the others squatting on the ground, she wondered what they were doing. "Ah! Shuer, it's you. We're thinking about something," Leng Qingtian said. "Thinking about something here?" Cold sweat dripped down Leng Ruoxue's forehead. "Grandpa and the others are too good at finding places." "Yes. I heard something just now, so I'm thinking about it," Leng Qingtian said awkwardly. "What did you hear?" Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. Her grandfather and the others looked serious. Was it related to them? "Lass, do you know the relationship between the city lord's mansion and the Sun family?" Old Zao asked. "Yes, why?" The relationship between the city lord's mansion and the Sun family didn't seem to be a secret. "Just now, we heard the city lord say to find some young and beautiful women to give to the Sun family, and Pig Furong recommended you to her father," Old Zao explained. "Oh, and then?" Leng Ruoxue asked calmly. "Then the city lord said he would visit you in the prison tomorrow. If you pass, Pig Furong won't have to marry," Old Zao said. "Oh, then we'll wait for him in the cell tomorrow," Leng Ruoxue said calmly. "Little girl, why aren't you worried at all? I suspect that someone from the Sun family is practicing evil techniques. Why else would they need so many young and beautiful women?" Old Man said worriedly. "What's the use of worrying? The Sun family is one of the 3 great families and not something we can deal with now," Leng Ruoxue said calmly. "Humph. Want to give me away? Dream on. How can I be manipulated so easily? For those who have designs on me, it's best to be prepared to pay the price. Shuer, let's leave Windless City while we still can." Leng Qingtian was very worried that his granddaughter would be hurt. They were indeed too weak now. "Grandpa, we can run for a while, but can we run forever? There is a pig city lord in Windless City, and other cities might also have such a city lord. Therefore, running won't solve the problem, and that's also a sign of weakness. We can only work hard to become strong so that we won't be controlled by others," Leng Ruoxue analyzed calmly. They were new and unfamiliar with everything, and they themselves were the only people they could rely on and trust. Chapter 343, The Unlucky City Lord's Mansion, 2, Ruoxue makes sense, Lin Liang agreed. "Grandpa, President Lan will arrange a place for us to stay after we settle the matter with the pig family. At that time, we will all enter seclusion. Cultivating in the space for a month, coupled with the accelerated time, will be equivalent to several years. Perhaps we can break through," Leng Ruoxue suggested. "Okay, well listen to Shuer," Leng Qingtian agreed. In fact, they were mainly following Shuer's opinions now. "Grandpa, did you obtain anything?" Leng Ruoxue asked curiously after settling the worries of Leng Qingtian and the others. "Lass, I've collected a lot of artificing materials," Old Zao said proudly. "TCH, would you be able to take advantage if the pig family didn't have a pig that knew how to artifice?" Old Man said with contempt. I don't care who the original owner of those materials is. They're mine once I find them, old Zao said domineeringly. Stop arguing. By the way, do any of you know where Pig Furong lives? Len Ruoshua asked helplessly. Yes. Lass, come with me, old Zao said excitedly, eager to go. Len Ruoshua and Freak soon arrived at Pig Furong's residence under the lead of old Zao and the others. After reaching Zhu Furong's residence, Len Ruoshua quietly sneaked into her room, knocked her out, and stored her in a pet ring. Shuer, what do you want to do with her? Freak asked curiously. You'll know then, hee hee. Len Ruoshua smiled evilly, her face full of mystery. Grandpa, let's go. Len Ruoshua said to Len Qingtian and the others waiting in the courtyard after exiting the room. Then she summoned her beasts back. After all the beasts arrived, Len Ruoshua sent them back into the bracelet and left the city lord's mansion with Freak. Shuer, where are we going? Freak asked after leaving the city lord's mansion. This wasn't the way back to the cell. To the city gates. There are the most people there, Len Ruoshua said matter-of-factly. Oh. When they arrived at the city gates, Len Ruoshua summoned Quill. Freak, turn around. Don't look, Len Ruoshua said domineeringly. Yes, my wife. Freak turned around obediently. Hee hee, I can guess what Shuer wants to do with my eyes closed. Len Ruoshua took out a rope made of beast tendons, tied Pig Furong into a dumpling, and handed her to Quill. Quill, hang this thing at the city gates, Len Ruoshua ordered. Yes, master. Quill was a little disgusted. He grabbed one end of the rope with his claws, flew into the air, and found a good spot to hang Pig Furong. At this moment, the guards guarding the city gates didn't expect one of the city lord's daughters to be hanging above their heads, naked. After doing all this, Len Ruoshua and Freak returned to the cell openly. Freak, take this appearance-changing pill. Len Ruoshua took out 2 appearance-changing pills and gave one to Freak as soon as they entered the cell. She took one herself. Alas! She didn't want her grandfather to worry. Okay, Shuer, let's sleep for a while. There will be a good show tomorrow. Freak said after taking the pill. Then let's sleep for a while. Well, wait for the city lord to visit tomorrow, Len Ruoshua said with a light smile. Yes, how dare he have designs on my woman. He's dead meat, Freak said hatefully. Then he lay on the recliner with Len Ruoshua in his arms. The next morning. Ah! Shuer, why are you beating me up? Freak covered his face with tears in his eyes, aggrieved. Ah! You're Freak? Len Ruoshua was embarrassed. She opened her eyes and saw a fat stranger hugging her, so she punched him without thinking. Ah! When she woke up, she really forgot that Freak ate an appearance-changing pill last night because the appearance-changing pill had yet to show its effects when they went to sleep yesterday. Moreover, this appearance-changing pill was newly concocted by her, and she had added many new medicinal herbs in it, so she wasn't sure what the appearance-changing pill would turn Freak into. To be honest, she wasn't very certain of its effects either. But the appearance-changing pill actually turned Freak into an ugly fatty, which was unexpected. Shuer, you can't even recognize me anymore. Boo-hoo. I'm so sad. Freak said sadly, his tears threatening to fall. I didn't do it on purpose. You've really changed too much. Len Ruoshua said embarrassedly. How could she expect that a mere appearance-changing pill could change the appearance and figure of Freak? Boo-hoo. Shuer, no matter how ugly you become, I can instantly recognize you by your smell. How can you not recognize me? The more he thought about it, the sadder he became. Boo-hoo. Ah. What does he mean by smelling me? When did he become a little dog? Len Ruoshua was at a loss for words. Freak, I'm sorry. I was scared because I wasn't mentally prepared. Len Ruoshua said guiltily. Then kiss me, and I'll forgive you. Freak took the opportunity to ask for a kiss. Let's not kiss first, okay? I think it's weird, Len Ruoxue said tentatively. No, woo-woo. Swear, you despise me. I didn't even despise you. In fact, you're also ugly. Freak choked with sobs. Don't cry. Fine, I'll kiss you. Who's afraid of who? Len Ruoxue said stubbornly. With that, she pulled Freak's head closer, closed her eyes, steeled her heart, and kissed him. Well, even though his appearance has changed, he doesn't feel different. Fortunately, luckily. After kissing for a long while, Freak was finally satisfied. Swear, you look so ugly, Freak teased with a chuckle. Really? Let me see. Len Ruoxue took out a mirror from the bracelet and saw her current appearance through the mirror. Chapter 344, The Unlucky City Lord's Mansion, 3, Damn. Is this me? Freak made an understatement. Her current appearance wasn't something that could be described with the word ugly. In the mirror, her skin was yellow, her hair was dry, and her facial features weren't straight. Her mouth was crooked, one of her eyes was big, the other was small, her nose was red, and her body was a little swollen. In short, she was a woman too ugly to be called merely ugly. Freak, I've troubled you, Len Ruoxue said very sincerely to Freak after admiring her appearance. It's okay. I don't mind, so you can't despise me either. Freak said coquettishly as his starry eyes welled up with tears. In fact, he was quite satisfied with Schwer's current appearance. This way, no man would have any ideas about his Schwer. Yes, I don't despise you. I was only a little uncomfortable just now. Did it hurt? Len Ruoxue said with some heartache while lightly caressing the bruises on Freak's face. It doesn't hurt. I have thick skin. Your strength won't hurt me. Freak hugged Len Ruoxue and smiled foolishly. That's good. Then Len Ruoxue summoned Rise and ordered, Rise, go out and scout the situation. I guarantee to complete the task. Rise stared at Len Ruoxue in disbelief for a long time before thinking, boo-hoo. Where is my incomparably beautiful female master? Freak, I'm a little depressed, Len Ruoxue said leisurely after Rise disappeared. She didn't expect the effects of this appearance-changing pill to be so remarkable, actually changing her and Freak so thoroughly that even her own beasts almost couldn't recognize her. Schwer, it's okay. They will get used to it, Freak comforted. Okay, I'll make do first for our safety. Len Ruoxue nodded. About half an hour later, Rise returned to the cell. Master, it's so lively outside now, Rise said happily while climbing onto Len Ruoxue's wrist. Moreover, he had helped spread some rumors. Report it, Len Ruoxue said with interest. Master, that naked woman is still hanging at the city gates. I heard that the city lord thought of many ways but couldn't save her from above. Many people have gone to the city gates to watch the commotion. Moreover, I hid in the crowd and told everyone what happened last night in the city lord's mansion. Windless City is almost a mess now, Rise said with a face full of pride. Well done, Len Ruoxue praised. This is exactly the effect I want. The city lord must be so angry that he's about to vomit blood. Schwer, the city lord has lost all his face this time, Freak said with a smile. How dare he have designs on my woman? This punishment is still considered light. Freak, do you think the city lord will still look for us today? Len Ruo asked curiously. Of course. He can't count on his daughter anymore, so he still has to count on you. Freak said. Okay, let's prepare to welcome him. Well, give him a big gift then. A cunning smile appeared on Len Ruoxue's beautiful face. Who do you want to welcome? A teasing voice sounded in the cell. Definitely not you. Why are you here again? Len Ruoxue asked with a frown while looking at Lan Ming, who appeared in the cell. You're really too heartless. I rushed here early in the morning to see you, but you're actually treating me like this. Boo-hoo. I'm so sad. Lan Ming called out beautifully. Stop pretending. You're here to watch the show, right? Leng Ruoxue said in realization. Hee, I'm here to see if there's anything I can help with, and also see the commotion, Lan Ming said honestly. This morning, after hearing about the incident in the city lord's mansion, he immediately thought of Leng Ruoxue and Yi Chen, so he immediately rushed over. President Lan, if you want to watch the commotion, you seem to have come to the wrong place. The city lord's mansion is the most lively place now, Leng Ruoxue reminded. I don't want to go to the city lord's mansion. I'm more interested in you, Lan Ming said with slight fear, as if the city lord's mansion was a tiger's den. Ha! Leng Ruoxue couldn't help laughing hysterically. Of course, she knew what Lan Ming was afraid of. Those daughters of the city lord's mansion all regarded him as the most delicious food. It would be strange if he wasn't afraid. Is it very funny? Lan Ming said angrily. Leng Ruoxue turned her head and asked, Isn't it funny? Freak, do you think it's funny? President Lan, there's no need to be embarrassed. I understand you, Freak said sympathetically. Alas. Being chased by unappetizing women is indeed not something to brag about. Thank you, but I want to know why you have become like this. Lan Ming was very curious. He would definitely be scared away by these two people in front of him if he didn't have good composure. Their appearance was really too unique. I've seen that face for a long time, and am a little tired of it, so I wanted to change to something new, Leng Ruoxue teased. But this is a little too new. Ah. I suggest you don't go out at night, or you will definitely be treated as ghosts, Lan Ming said very seriously. That can only mean that some people's mental fortitude needs to be strengthened, Leng Ruoxue said calmly. By the way, you were the ones behind what happened in the city lord's mansion last night, right? Lan Ming said with certainty even though it was a question. Would you believe me if I said no? Leng Ruoxue asked. No. No one in Windless City is so bold except for you, Lan Ming said understandingly. He still had this bit of judgment. Who said no one has the guts? Leng Ruoxue asked. Ah. Really? Why don't I know? Lan Ming was stunned. He had been in Windless City for several years, but he had never heard of anyone who dared to look down on the city lord. After all, the city lord was heaven to the people of Windless City. It's you. Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Me? You think too highly of me. I would have done something long ago if I had the guts, Lan Ming said pitifully with a bitter face. Chapter 345, The Unlucky City Lord's Mansion, 4, President, don't pretend to be pitiful. Your acting skills are too lousy, Leng Ruoxue said disdainfully. According to her guess, the reason why Lan Ming didn't take action against the city lord's mansion was not that he didn't dare to, but that he didn't care for it. After all, with Lan Ming's status, a small city lord's mansion was nothing. Alas. Can you not be so shrewd? You're right. I'm mainly too lazy to deal with those ants. Lan Ming's handsome face was full of disdain. Even ants will bite. You should get rid of them as soon as possible and don't keep them to cause trouble for yourself. Leng Ruoxue disagreed with his idea. In her opinion, any danger should be killed in the cradle. That's true. But you still haven't told me whether you were the ones behind what happened in the city lord's mansion. Lan Ming asked stubbornly. If you think so, then so be it. Leng Ruoxue said ambiguously. It would be impossible to get an accurate answer from her mouth. Are you giving me a tongue twister? Lan Ming was speechless. This girl was really too difficult to deal with. Alas. Forget it. He wouldn't ask. No one else would dare to do this except them anyway. President Lan, you have to uphold justice for us when the city lord comes. Leng Ruoxue suddenly said pitifully when she heard footsteps in the distance. Don't worry. I will definitely uphold justice for you, Lan Ming said cooperatively. President Lan, why are you here? A strong voice sounded in their ears as the footsteps approached. Humph. Our association's mystics were arrested by your second miss. As the president, how can I not come? Lan Ming snorted coldly. What? They are mystics? Zhu Binghuan was shocked and felt that something was amiss. He knew very well that the people locked in the cell were the people his daughter mentioned, and he was here for these two people today. What? Sir City Lord, don't you believe me? Lan Ming glanced at Zhu Binghuan coldly. Zhu Binghuan wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and said with a smile, Ah. President Lan, that's not what I mean. I just felt that I couldn't feel the aura of mystics on them, so I was a little curious. You're only a spiritual deity, yet you still want to feel the aura of mystics. Humph. What a delusion. You're daydreaming, Lan Ming said without giving him any face. If mystics couldn't hide their auras and allowed spiritual deities to sense them, they would be failures. Ah. President Lan, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that many mystics like to release their auras, so, Zhu Binghuan explained fearfully. City Lord Zhu, have you seen a true mystic powerhouse? Mystics who can become powerhouses are very low-key. Those that like to be smug can only be considered trash, Lan Ming said disdainfully. President Lan is right. Zhu Binghuan braced himself and agreed, but he couldn't help cursing in his heart. Damn, you're a powerhouse, so of course you don't care about ordinary mystics. But those mystics are already considered powerhouses in our eyes. Are you the people my daughter arrested because you stole her jewelry? Zhu Binghuan changed the topic and turned his gaze to the two people in the cell. But what he saw almost scared him out of his wits. Damn, where did these ghosts come from? They purely want to scare people. He had lived for dozens of years, but this was the first time he had seen people so ugly and unique. It was too shocking. Seeing the two people hugging each other in the cell, he deeply doubted his daughter's eyesight. Damn it, even if you don't want to marry that person from the Sun family, you don't have to find someone so ugly. Do you want to scare him to death? What was more infuriating was that Furong actually dared to recommend her to him, saying that the woman was a drop-dead gorgeous beauty. She made him think about her the entire night. In the end, he hurriedly settled the mess in the mansion this morning and then immediately rushed to the cell. However, not only did he not see any shadow of the beauty, but he even saw the ugliest woman in the world. What was even more unacceptable was that these two were actually mystics. Boo-hoo. Heaven is really too unfair. Such ugly people can actually become mystics. City Lord Pig, have you heard of mystics who steal? Leng Ruoxua questioned coldly. Ah. This, Zhu Binghuan was at a loss for words. Mystics had incomparably noble statuses on the boundless heaven continent. Therefore, he had really never heard of any mystics stealing. City Lord Pig, the public security of your windless city is really too poor. Not only do you throw things away, but you also casually arrest people, Freak added. Yes, City Lord Pig. You have to give our Mystic Association an explanation for this matter. Lan Ming also joined in the fun. I think this should be a misunderstanding. I'm really sorry, you too. Zhu Binghuan felt cold sweat flowing down his back after hearing what Leng Ruoxue and the others said. Alas. His greatest wish now was that this matter could be reduced to a small matter. He didn't dare to provoke the Mystic Association after all. Boo-hoo. Do you think everything will be okay just because of a misunderstanding? Leng Ruoxue said indifferently, her eyes flashing with a terrifying light. That's right. We were wronged by your city lord's mansion and suffered serious mental damage, so you have to give us a satisfactory explanation. Otherwise, we will stay in this cell, Freak echoed. Zhu Binghuan was speechless. He couldn't help thinking, are these two going to rob me? You want an explanation from me? I was nearly scared shitless by you. Who should I ask for an explanation from? President Lan, what do you think? Zhu Binghuan turned his gaze to Lan Ming helplessly. Don't look at me. I can't solve this matter, Lan Ming declined. Hee, we were wrong to have wronged you too. Please state your requests. As long as I can do it, I will. Zhu Binghuan had to smile obsequiously at Leng Ruoxue and freak since Lan Ming was unwilling to help. Chapter 346, The Unlucky City Lord's Mansion, 5, Sir City Lord is quite sensible. Leng Ruoxue nodded with appreciation. Hee, this is indeed our fault, Zhu Binghuan said good-naturedly, even though he was about to vomit blood from anger. Then we won't stand on the ceremony. This is the list of the compensation we're requesting. City Lord Pig, please take a look. Leng Ruoxue took out a piece of paper that she had prepared long ago and handed it to Pig Binghuan. I am willing to compensate as long as you two are willing to let this matter pass, Zhu Binghuan said through gritted teeth after looking at the list. The list had a lot of things, but it was not difficult to do with the wealth of the City Lord's mansion. At this moment, he still didn't know that the treasury of the City Lord's mansion had long been emptied. All right. This matter will be resolved once City Lord Pug sends the compensation, Leng Ruoxue said readily. Hee, can you two leave now? I'll arrange a place for you to stay, Zhu Binghuan said ingratiatingly. There's no need for lodging. This cell is pretty good, Freak said calmly. He was in no hurry to leave. No. How can people live here? Zhu Binghuan said anxiously. City Lord Pig, we don't dare to leave. If we leave and you renege on your promise, our loss will be immense, Leng Ruoxue said bluntly. I swear on my reputation that I won't go back on my word. Zhu Binghuan was depressed. Why were these two so difficult to deal with? It was so easy to invite a god but difficult to send one away. I'm sorry. We don't believe in so-called credibility, Freak said without giving face. Even though Zhu Binghuan was about to explode from anger, he still had to ask patiently, Then what do you want me to do so that you're willing to leave this place? You can choose to establish a contract. It's that simple. Leng Ruoxue reminded very kindly. Okay. Zhu Binghuan immediately established the contract without hesitation. As the contract array descended, the contract was formally established. Two little ancestors, is it okay now? Zhu Binghuan asked weakly. He wanted to invite these two gods of plague away even if he had to pray to them now. Just barely passable. Leng Ruoxue said with dissatisfaction. Hearing this, Zhu Binghuan felt like smashing his head against a piece of tofu. He already established a contract with them, but these two gods of plague were actually still not satisfied. Since the matter has been resolved, I'll take the two of them away. Lan Ming suppressed his smile while watching the commotion. Okay. Thank you, President Lan. Please take them away quickly. Zhu Binghuan said impatiently. City Lord Pig, you better prepare our compensation quickly. We don't have much patience, Freak reminded before leaving the cell. Then the two of them left the prison with Lan Ming. You are really too amazing. I'm impressed. Lan Ming couldn't help teasing them on the way to their new residence. President Lan, you haven't bought a ticket after watching the show for so long. Leng Ruoxue reminded lightly. Yes, what Shuer says is reasonable. You can't watch our show for nothing, Freak said very cooperatively. Lan Ming was stunned and then said speechlessly, You. Don't you care too much about money? I told you, we're poor. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. But you can't earn money from your friends, Lan Ming argued. Friends? Who are you talking about? Leng Ruoxue pretended to be stupid. Of course it's me. I'm already treating you as my friends, Lan Ming said very seriously. Oh. That's your problem. We haven't treated you as a friend yet. Freak said without giving him face. Lan Ming was so angry that he was at a loss for words. These two are he really wanted to beat them up now. In fact, even if we treat you as a friend, we still have to collect the money. But we can give you a discount, Leng Ruoxue said seriously. You too. I'm impressed. Lan Ming was so angry that he stopped talking. He only spoke again after bringing Leng Ruoxue and Freak to the residence he had arranged for them. Since Lan Ming didn't say anything, Leng Ruoxue and Freak naturally wouldn't take the initiative to speak with him. This is the place. Do you need anything else? Lan Ming asked. Leng Ruoxue and Freak looked at this house. In short, it was not bad. The yard was big enough, there were enough rooms, and the environment was good. Leng Ruoxue and Freak exchanged glances and said at the same time, "We are very satisfied." That's good. Please stay here for the time being. Tell me if you have any other requests, Lan Ming reminded. Yes, President Lan. We intend to enter seclusion. If there's nothing important, it's best not to disturb us. As for the compensation from the pig family, please help us collect it first. This is the list. Leng Ruoxue handed Lan Ming a piece of paper. Okay, enter seclusion at ease. It'll help you settle the other things, Lan Ming promised. Lan Ming turned and left. After Lan Ming left, Leng Ruoxue and Freak randomly chose a room as their temporary residence. Shuer, do you think the pig family can still afford the compensation? Freak asked very curiously while hugging Leng Ruoxue and sitting in a chair in the room. They had taken away all the valuable things in the pig family yesterday. No problem. Don't underestimate the ability of this pig. Moreover, doesn't he have 2 daughters waiting to be married? Leng Ruoxue said with a face full of disdain. Much of the money in the pig family was earned by women for him. Ha, Shuer, looks like what happened this morning has already left him in a terrible fix. I'm really looking forward to seeing his expression when he sees all the wealth that he has accumulated for many years is gone. Freak smiled mischievously. What's so difficult about that? Well, no, if we go take a look. Leng Ruoxue said eagerly. Hee, let's go now. Freak suggested. Leng Ruoxue nodded and summoned Quill from the bracelet. The two of them and the beast headed straight for the city lord's mansion. Chapter 347, Are you planning to rob us? 1. After reaching the city lord's mansion, Leng Ruoxue got Rise to cast an invisibility spell on them and hid in the dark. At this moment, City Lord Pig had just returned to the city lord's mansion and already arranged for his newly promoted head steward to retrieve the items from the treasury according to the list while he sat waiting in the chair in the main hall. Alas! I hope this matter caused by Furong ends soon. After all, he couldn't afford to offend the Mystic Association. Husband, you have to uphold justice for our daughter. Zhu Furong's biological mother, the second madam of the city lord's mansion, ran in with a crying face. She knelt in front of Zhu Binghuan and hugged his thigh tightly. What do you want now? Zhu Binghuan roared with a splitting headache. Damn it, every one of them makes me worry. His daughters were causing trouble outside all day, and these women in the family didn't stop either. Apart from being jealous, they actually dared to cuckold him. Humph. Husband, our daughter has suffered so much. You have to uphold justice for her. The second madam wailed. Uphold justice? What justice? Do you know who did it? Can you find them? Zhu Binghuan roared angrily. Damn, these troublesome women really think I'm omnipotent. Husband, Furong suspects that it was the 2 people she captured. Husband, we can't let them go, the second madam said fiercely. Boo-hoo, her daughter was basically ruined, so she had to find a scapegoat this time. Otherwise, her husband would definitely not let Furong off easily. You mean the 2 people in the cell did it? Zhu Binghuan questioned. Yes. Furong said that there could be no one else except them, the second madam said with certainty. Anyway, she would insist on this, and she believed that with her husband's ability, he could definitely convict the 2 of them even if there was no evidence. Alas! Furong can forget about marrying into a good family in the future since such a thing happened. Thus, she had to find someone to vent her anger on. And those two people were the two unlucky people. Weren't they locked up in the cell? How could they have the chance to do it? Zhu Binghuan continued to question. They must have escaped, the second madam guessed. Nonsense. Those two people were properly locked up in the cell. Moreover, do you know their identities? Zhu Binghuan roared furiously. He didn't even have the time to send those two plague gods away. How could he dare to cause them trouble? Husband, could it be that they have some extraordinary identity? The second madam asked doubtfully. That's impossible, isn't it? Furong said that they're just ordinary commoners. Moreover, they don't seem to have any background. Those two are from the Mystic Association. The Mystic Association. Do you dare make them into scapegoats? Zhu Binghuan roared. Humph. What a pig's head. No wonder her daughter is equally stupid. How is this possible? The second madam said in disbelief. Why not? President Lan said it himself. How could it be fake? Humph. Do you know how much wealth our Zhu family lost because of your good daughter? Go pack up for Furong and get her to marry into the Sun family 3 days later, Zhu Binghuan ordered resolutely. Husband, you can't treat Furong like this. She is your daughter, the second madam cried. She was unwilling to let her daughter marry into the Sun family. Even though the Sun family was one of the 3 great families, she knew very well what the situation with the Sun family was. Boo-hoo, none of the women who married into the Sun family could live for more than 3 years. I don't want a daughter who only knows how to cause trouble for me all day, Zhu Binghuan said ruthlessly. Husband. The second madam opened her mouth to say something, but Zhu Binghuan interrupted her. Say nothing else. I've already made up my mind, Zhu Binghuan said forcefully. Seeing that she could no longer do anything, the second madam wiped the tears off her face and was about to leave when she saw the head steward rushing into the main hall. Master, bad news. Our treasury has been robbed, the head steward said loudly. Boo-hoo, he was originally the deputy steward of the city lord's mansion. He had just replaced the head steward after the incident, but he didn't expect to encounter such a thing on the first day of his promotion. Boo-hoo. Zhu Binghuan grabbed the head steward's collar and roared with a red face, what did you say? Say it again. Master, our treasury was robbed, the head steward stammered. How is that possible? That place is very secretive. How could it be robbed? Zhu Binghuan really couldn't believe this. He was extremely confident in the security of his treasury. Master, look at this. The head steward handed him a piece of paper with trembling hands. Zhu Binghuan took the note, opened it, and read it. Then he crumpled the note fiercely and threw it on the ground while striding toward the treasury. When they arrived at the treasury, Zhu Binghuan looked at the empty treasury. Blood rushed to his head, and his vision darkened as he fainted. Husband! Master! The second madam and the head steward exclaimed as they rushed over to help Zhu Binghuan. My treasures! My lifelong collection! The first thing Zhu Binghuan did when he woke up was to cry loudly. Boo-hoo! All my treasures are gone. This was even more unbearable for him than losing his parents. Master, the second madam didn't know how to console him. Her heart ached too since all the money was gone. Boo-hoo! Steward, compile an announcement immediately to make this great sage, heavens equal a wanted person. Zhu Binghuan ordered with tears in his eyes. Yes, master. I'll go right away, the head steward hurriedly said while wiping the sweat off his forehead before turning to leave. Husband, what should we do? The second madam asked fearfully. How could their family live without this money? Who am I supposed to ask? Do you know that I have to compensate those 2 mystics because of your good daughter? Where am I supposed to find enough riches to compensate them now? Zhu Binghuan roared furiously. What a bunch of incompetent women. Boo-hoo. Chapter 348, Are you planning to rob us? 2. What kind of bad luck was this? Last night, his house was raided by spirit beasts, and this morning, people discovered that his favored concubine was having an affair with his steward and that his daughter seduced the guards. In addition, another daughter was hanging naked at the city gates. And now, he just discovered that the treasury was robbed. Boo-hoo, who was the one messing with him? Husband, the second madam choked up and didn't dare to spout nonsense. Boo-hoo. Hurry up and pack up for Furong. I'll send her to the Sun family tomorrow, Zhu Binghuan said ruthlessly. Yes. The second madam knew that her husband wouldn't change his mind now, so she could only resign herself to fate and pack her daughter's things. Zhu Binghuan stood alone in the huge treasury in a daze. His heart was bleeding. Humph. Great sage, heaven's equal, you better not let me find you, or you're dead meat. After watching enough of the commotion, Leng Ruoxue and Freak left the city lord's mansion and returned to their residence. Ha! Schwer, it's so funny. Freak laughed out loud when they returned to their room, feeling incomparably happy. Yes, according to my guess, there should be a lot of happy events happening in the city lord's mansion soon, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile while leaning in Freak's arms. The city lord's mansion had suffered considerable losses, so Pig Binghuan would definitely be financially strapped during this period of time. Ha, Schwer, he still has to think of a way to pay us the compensation. Freak said with a smile. Yes, Freak. Let's enter seclusion today. Leng Ruoxue said with a nod. Okay. Leng Ruoxue brought Freak into the bracelet. Leng Qingtian and the others, who were waiting for them, were shocked when they saw them. Heavens! Where did these ghosts come from? Lass, can you not be so scary? Old Zao said exaggeratedly while clutching his chest. Even though they were already mentally prepared, the appearance of the girl and Brat Yi was really too shocking now. It was impossible for them to guard against them. Ah! Schwer, are you Schwer? Leng Qingtian rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Grandpa, of course it's me. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Leng Ruoxue's forehead. Boo-hoo. Grandpa actually can't even recognize me anymore. Ah. Schwer, you will be very safe with such a get-up. Leng Qingtian thought for a long time before he came up with something less rude. Alas. If this appearance isn't safe, then I will truly have to suspect the aesthetics of the men in this world, old man teased. Lin Liang stared at Leng Ruoxue and Yi Chen for a long time. Finally, he said, give me one. I want to change my appearance too. I'll give each of you one. Leng Ruoxue gave each of them a pill. Hee, she and Freak couldn't be the only ones who changed their appearances. Moreover, she was also a little curious about what the others would look like after taking the appearance-changing pill. Leng Qingtian and the others took the pills and put them in their mouths at the same time. Grandpa, this pill will take effect an hour later, Leng Ruoxue explained. Oh, then let's wait for an hour. Leng Qingtian said with interest. An hour later, the appearance-changing pill took effect. Leng Ruoxue watched helplessly as her grandfather went from a tall and handsome middle-aged man to a short and thin little old man. Moreover, he was an incomparably ugly little old man. As for the short old Zao, he became taller. Old man and Lin Liang were also very different from their original selves. Ah! If she didn't know that the people in front of her were them, she wouldn't have recognized them at all. Hee. This new appearance-changing pill was really too magical. Schwer, how long will this appearance-changing pill last? Leng Qingtian looked at his new appearance and was completely depressed because it was really too ugly. Boo-hoo. 3 months. Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Really? So long. Leng Qingtian frowned. Boo-hoo, he couldn't even take it for a day. Ha! Grandpa, don't worry. This appearance-changing pill has an antidote, Leng Ruoxue teased happily. Hee hee, I didn't expect Grandpa, a big man, to care so much about his appearance. Oh, that's good. Leng Qingtian was relieved to hear his granddaughter's words. Ruoxue, your appearance-changing pill is really amazing. Lin Liang exclaimed. This was much better than ordinary appearance-changing pills. Ordinary ones could change the appearance at best but not the body shape, so people especially familiar with them could still recognize them. But this small pill even changed the body shape. Even people they were familiar with couldn't recognize them. This was really a necessity for escaping. Yes, in the future, no one will know that we're the ones doing bad things as long as we take an appearance-changing pill. Hee hee. Leng Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. Ah. Leng Qingtian and the others were at a loss for words upon hearing this. This girl was actually addicted to doing bad things. But doing bad things really felt good. Grandpa, City Lord Pig is looking for the great sage, heaven's equal all over the world now. Leng Ruoxue teased. Little girl, who is this great sage, heaven's equal? Will there be any trouble if you push the blame onto him? Old man said worriedly. And he couldn't help thinking, does little girl have a grudge against that great sage, heaven's equal? Why else would she make him the scapegoat? Ah. The great sage, heaven's equal is actually just a person I made up. There isn't someone like that in this world. Leng Ruoxue explained with 2 drops of cold sweat dripping down her forehead. Oh, that's good. Old man was relieved. Grandpa, I've already promised President Lan to participate in the Mystic Association's competition in a month. Moreover, the rewards for the competition are very generous, so we should take advantage of this month to cultivate diligently and strive to attain all the rewards. Leng Ruoxue said. Okay. If we can win those rewards, coupled with the remuneration that President Lan will pay us, we won't be so short of money, Leng Qingtian said happily. They were aware of the deal between Lan Ming and Shuer in the cell that day. So if they could obtain good results, they would be able to accumulate wealth. Chapter 349, Are you planning to rob us? 3. Grandpa, let's enter seclusion from today onward. I've already spoken with President Lan. There should be no one disturbing us, Leng Ruoxue said. Okay, let's try to break through. Leng Qingtian walked toward his residence and prepared to enter seclusion as soon as possible. Lin Liang and the others also dispersed. Qingju, Leng Ruoxue called out softly to the void. Big sister. Qingju appeared. Qingju, everyone plans to enter seclusion for a month. If there's anything important, wake me up. If not, wake us up a month later, Leng Ruoxue ordered. Okay, big sister, Qingju answered. After settling everything, Leng Ruoxue walked into the purple bamboo house with Freak. A month passed by quickly. Leng Ruoxue and the others in the Heaven and Earth bracelet absorbed the rich spiritual energy in the space day and night. Everyone gained a lot. While cultivating, Leng Ruoxue vaguely felt that she was about to break through, so she opened her eyes. She looked at the time. It had actually been a month. Time really passed quickly. During this month, she had absorbed a lot of spiritual energy and converted it into mystic power. Now, the mystic power in her body had roughly accumulated to about a third. It wasn't a lot, but breaking through to elementary mystic wouldn't be a problem. But it would probably take a long time if she wanted to break through the 4th level of the heaven-defying art. Moreover, after breaking through the 4th level, her strength would be equivalent to the great mystics of this world. After breaking through the 5th level, her strength would be equivalent to the mystic supremacies of this world. Only at that time would she become a true powerhouse of this world, and her natal flame would also be close to perfection. Shuer, you're awake. Freak was overjoyed when he opened his eyes and found that Shuer woke up earlier than him. I just woke up. You are going to break through? Leng Ruoxue said while looking at Freak. Yes, Shuer. We can all break through and become elementary mystics before the competition, Freak said. He wanted to break through with Schwer. Freak, let's go out. I wonder if Grandpa and the others are awake yet, Len Ruoxue said while looking at Freak. Okay. They stood up and walked out of the purple bamboo house. Big sister, you're awake, Qing Ju said. Yes, Qing Ju, you've worked hard. Len Ruoxue caressed Qing Ju's little head. Qing Ju didn't do much. Big sister, President Lan came twice in the past month, and City Lord Pig came a few times. But they were both stopped by Rise, Qing Ju reported. He had sent Rise out to look after the residents ever since his big sister and the others went into seclusion, so Rise sent all those people back. Oh, did they say anything important? Len Ruoxue asked. President Lan came to take a look. As for City Lord Pig, it's about the compensation. But Rise already asked him to look for President Lan according to Big Sister's instructions, Qing Ju explained. Yes, well done. Len Ruoxue nodded. She was becoming more and more satisfied with her beast's ability to handle situations. Qing Ju, has Grandpa and the others emerged from seclusion? Len Ruoxue asked. Although everything in her space was under her control, she didn't need to worry about it since Qing Ju was here. Qing Ju raised his little head and asked, No. Do you want me to wake them up? Not for now. Wake them when we set off. I'll go find President Lan, Len Ruoxue said after some thought. Len Ruoxue brought Freak out of the bracelet and saw Rise in his original form basking under the sun in the yard, looking very comfortable and leisurely. Seeing Rise's body that was as huge as a small mountain, Len Ruoxue couldn't help laughing. Alas, outsiders might faint from fright if they saw Rise's current appearance. Master. After sensing his master's aura, Rise quickly transformed, wrapped himself around Len Ruoxue's snow-white wrist, and kept acting coquettishly. Len Ruoxue caressed his soft body and said softly, You're quite good at enjoying yourself. It's okay. Rise said shyly and hid his little head under his body. Len Ruoxue smiled helplessly and then said to Freak, let's go find President Lan. Okay. Freak nodded. The two of them left the residence and walked toward the Mystic Association. When they arrived at the Mystic Association, someone welcomed Len Ruoxue and Freak warmly. Hello, are you two here to convert your spiritual power? The receptionist asked politely and warmly. Len Ruoxue looked at the male receptionist she had never seen and asked curiously, Are you new? Yes, I've only been here for a month, the receptionist explained. Oh, we're here to look for President Lan. Len Ruoxue nodded in realization. Please wait a moment. I'll go notify him, the receptionist said respectfully. He definitely didn't dare to neglect anyone who came to look for President Lan. Okay. Len Ruoxue pulled Freak to a seat in the hall after the receptionist went upstairs to report. A moment later, the receptionist came down from the second floor. He walked to Len Ruoxue and Freak and said, The president invites you up. Okay. Len Ruoxue and Freak stood up and went straight to the door of the president's room on the second floor. They knocked and directly pushed the door open. You two are finally willing to come out, Lan Ming said helplessly. Alas. They wouldn't have been able to make it in time if they came out any later. Didn't we say we would enter seclusion? What's the rush? Len Ruoxue said with a light smile. Lan Ming rolled his eyes at Len Ruoxue and said lightly, I was afraid that you would be in seclusion for too long. President Lan, you have to learn to trust us. I will definitely keep my promise, Len Ruoxue said confidently. Yes, little ancestor. I was wrong, okay. Lan Ming didn't know what to do with them. He had given it much thought during this month, and he was clearly not their match. Chapter 350, Are you planning to rob us? Okay, well forgive you since you sincerely admit your mistake, Len Ruoxue said with a smile. Alas. Are you two planning to participate in the competition like this? Lan Ming sighed helplessly. What? Is there something wrong? Leng Ruoxue pretended to be stupid. Of course it's inappropriate. If you go with these faces, you'll be laughing stocks, Lan Ming said honestly. Mystics were favored by heaven and earth, and they had absorbed so much spiritual energy day and night to undergo the baptism of heaven and earth. Therefore, basically all mystics were handsome men and beautiful women. There were almost none who were as ugly as Leng Ruoxue and the others. So he knew what kind of mockery they would receive without even thinking about it. President Lan, do you want to tell me that the competition held by the Mystic Association is a beauty pageant? Leng Ruoxue asked doubtfully. Of course not. But almost no mystic is as ugly as you are now. As a mystic, the higher the level, the younger and more beautiful the appearance will be. So, Lan Ming paused, a little at a loss for words. Then just treat us as anomalies. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. You are definitely abnormal among mystics, Lan Ming said helplessly. By the way, did you just say that the higher the level of a mystic, the more beautiful they will be? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. She knew that the higher the strength of a spiritualist, the longer they would live. She didn't expect a mystic to become beautiful. What benefits would her heaven-defying art have? Yes, we absorb heaven and earth spiritual energy every day, and it will gradually change our physique and appearance, so there are basically no ugly mystics, Lan Ming said implicitly. Then why can't spiritualists become beautiful? Leng Ruoxue was a little puzzled. Didn't spiritualists also absorb heaven and earth spiritual energy? The level of spiritual power is too low, so it can at most extend lifespan, Lan Ming explained. This was the most basic common sense on the boundless heaven continent. He didn't expect Leng Ruoxue not to know. Leng Ruoxue nodded understandingly and asked, Oh. President Lan, when are we leaving? The day after tomorrow. We need to go to the Mystic Association headquarters. The Mystic Association headquarters is located in Carefree City, which is very far from here. The journey will take quite some time, Lan Ming said after some thought. Where are we gathering? Leng Ruoxue asked. In your residence. President Lan said after some thought. Okay. Well, wait for you at home the day after tomorrow, Leng Ruoxue said. Yes. Oh right, this is for you. The compensation the city lord paid you has already been handed to me. Lan Ming took out a storage ring. Thank you, President Lan. Leng Ruoxue took the ring, casually scanned it with her divine sense, and sent the ring into the bracelet for Qing Ju to handle. President Lan, has anything major happened in the past month? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. Lan Ming raised his eyebrows and said mockingly, the city lord's mansion married 2 daughters in a row. I wonder if that's considered a big deal. This is a big and happy event for the city lord's mansion, but not for me. Leng Ruoxue said calmly. She wasn't interested in what she had already expected. Nothing else then, Lan Ming said directly. In that case, we'll take our leave, Leng Ruoxue said as she pulled Freak to his feet. All right. Lan Ming nodded. After leaving the Mystic Association, Leng Ruoxue and Freak didn't go home. Instead, they walked around on the streets. Shuer, where are we going? Freak asked curiously. Just taking a walk. We haven't come out for so long. Let's breathe some fresh air. Leng Ruoxue hugged Freak's arm coquettishly. Shuer, why don't we find a place to advance first? Freak suggested. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded and then found a less crowded place to let Quill out. Quill, bring us to a place to advance, Leng Ruoxue ordered. Yes, Master. Quill soared into the sky and flew out of the city after Leng Ruoxue and Freak were seated. After flying for about an hour, Quill stopped at a mountain. Master, is this place fine? Quill asked. Leng Ruoxue looked around the location and said, okay. Quill found a flat place to land. Leng Ruoxue jumped down from Quill's back and released all her beasts from the bracelet. She found a big green rock with Freak and sat cross-legged on it. About half an hour later, Leng Ruoxue and Freak's heaven and earth laws descended one after another, and the two of them absorbed heaven and earth's bestowment to their heart's content. After the heaven and earth laws disappeared, the two of them consolidated their cultivation for a while before slowly opening their eyes. Ah! Master, I'm going to advance. Master, I'm going to advance too. The silver wolves spoke one after another. They had always been the lowest level among the beasts, so they would obtain the greatest benefits every time Leng Ruoxue advanced. Many silver wolves were actually already level 9 holy beasts. They could become divine beasts if they advanced again this time. As soon as the silver wolves' exclamations sounded, one of the silver wolves took the lead to advance. Streams of heaven and earth laws descended like a relay immediately after. After a long while, the advancement of the silver wolves officially ended. Leng Ruoxue looked at the silver wolves with satisfaction. These silver wolves were the first ones to follow her after Baby, Charm, Darling, and Quill. But they had been staying in the space to cultivate because they were relatively weak. She was very happy to have so many silver wolves advance to divine beast. The advancement of the silver wolves naturally brought her many benefits. Leng Ruoxue adjusted her breathing slightly and stood up from the rock. She looked at Freak and the beasts and said, "Let's go back." Okay. Freak stood up and hugged Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue stored all the beasts in the bracelet, sat on Quill's back with Freak, and returned to Windless City. Chapter 351, Are You Planning to Rob Us? 5. After returning to Windless City, Quill descended in their yard. Leng Ruoxue and Freak jumped off Quill's back and entered the bracelet. Qing Ju, wake Grandpa and the others up. Leng Ruoxue ordered directly into the void. Okay, big sister, Qing Ju answered. A few minutes later, Leng Qingtian and the others emerged from their residences with smiles on their faces. Grandpa, looks like you gained a lot. Leng Ruoxue said in realization. Ha, swear, Grandpa can advance now. Leng Qingtian laughed happily. Me too, Lin Liang said. Me too. Old Man said, unwilling to be outdone. Lass, I can also advance to spiritual deity, Old Zao said happily. Cultivating in the space for a month was equivalent to several years outside. What a great harvest. Ruoxue, we can as well, Feng Jing and the Feng family's first elder said at the same time. That's great. Go outside and advance together. Leng Ruoxue said happily. These old men were the strongest among the group apart from the beasts. Their advancement was absolutely like adding wings to a tiger for her. Moreover, she believed that it wouldn't be long before her elder brother, Big Brother Feng, and the others advanced. Okay. The old men nodded together. Leng Ruoxue brought Freak and them out of the bracelet. Grandpa, we will go to Carefree City to participate in the competition the day after tomorrow, Leng Ruoxue said to Leng Qingtian and the others after getting out of the bracelet. So soon. Leng Qingtian was a little surprised. They had just emerged from seclusion. Yes, we saw Lan Ming just now, Leng Ruoxue explained. Lass, where are we going to advance? Old Zao couldn't help asking. You'll know when we get there. Come on up. Leng Ruoxue said as she sat on Quill's back. Quill, go back to where we were just now. Leng Ruoxue ordered after everyone sat down. Yes, master. Quill flapped his enormous wings, flew into the sky, and gradually disappeared into the distance. An hour later, they arrived at their destination. Grandpa, advance here. Leng Ruoxue said. Okay. Leng Qingtian jumped off Quill's back, found a place to sit cross-legged, and quietly waited for the heaven and earth laws to descend. After a while, heaven and earth laws arrived as expected. 2 hours later, Leng Qingtian and the others all completed their advancement. Old Zao, Feng Jing, First Elder, when do you intend to convert your spiritual power? Leng Ruoxue asked the three of them. Will there be enough time if I convert now? Old Zao asked worriedly. Of course, he wanted to become a mystic as soon as possible, but they were leaving the day after tomorrow, and he was afraid that there wouldn't be enough time. There should be time. Why don't we go to the Mystic Association and ask Lan Ming? Leng Ruoxue suggested. Alright, let's go quickly then. Old Zhao urged. He couldn't wait anymore. After discussing, Quill carried everyone back to Windless City. They didn't go to their residence when they arrived at Windless City and instead went straight to the Mystic Association. After seeing them, the receptionist of the Mystic Association let them through to the second floor. Leng Ruoxue knocked on the door of Lan Ming's president's office and led the old men in. Ah. Why are you here again so quickly? You've all advanced. Lan Ming's original bewilderment immediately turned to joy after seeing that they had all advanced to elementary mystic. Yes, we've all advanced. We're here to convert their spiritual power. Leng Ruoxue pointed at old Zhao and the other two. Now. They won't be as abnormal as you and need a few days to advance, right? Lan Ming said worriedly. If that was the case, their journey would be delayed. President Lan, don't worry. The most perverted people in our group have converted. We're normal, old Zhao comforted with a smile. Oh, in that case, it'll bring you to the conversion room. I don't have to repeat the rules, right? Lan Ming asked. These three people were also present when he told Leng Ruoxue and the others about the precautions for converting spiritual power. There's no need. We know, old Zhao said. Then let's go. Lan Ming stood up and led them to the conversion room from last time. After they arrived in the conversion room, the three of them found a small room and entered without needing Lan Ming to say anything. They seem to be in a hurry, Lan Ming said speechlessly as he found a chair to sit down. He finally realized that no one with this little girl was normal. Leng Ruoxue also sat down and teased, they're afraid of wasting your time, President. TCH, as if I would believe you. Lan Ming said very honestly with a pout. President, how can a handsome man like you pout? Leng Ruoxue said in disapproval. So what? Can't a handsome man pout and fart? Lan Ming said in objection. Of course not. That would affect your image. Leng Ruoxue teased with a light smile. Doesn't he fart or pout? Lan Ming pointed at Freak. If Schwer says no, it means no, Freak echoed without any opinion. He was definitely a good man who listened to his wife. Why are you so obedient? Lan Ming was speechless. He had lived for decades, but he had never seen such an obedient man. Yes, of course. Who else should I listen to if not my wife? Freak said nonchalantly. President Lan, you can't sow discord between us, Leng Ruoxue said very proudly. She hugged Freak's neck, pulled his head down, and kissed him heavily on the lips. Schwer. Freak was excited and looked at Leng Ruoxue with eyes full of hearts. Schwer actually kissed me in front of so many people. This is great, This time, my status is even more unshakable. Lass, there are a lot of people here. Lan Ming reminded. Chapter 352, Are you planning to rob us? 6. You're calling me a lass. Don't tell me you're an undying old man. Leng Ruoxue guessed, her watery eyes looking back and forth on Lan Ming's body. I'm not that old, okay? Lan Ming was speechless. Although he was a little bit older, he was still far from becoming an old man. The president of the Mystic Association headquarters was the real undying old man. I think you must be more than 80 years old, right? Leng Ruoxue murmured with a frown. Damn lass, I'm not that old. Lan Ming fell to the ground with a plop after hearing what Leng Ruoxue said. After getting up, he glared at Leng Ruoxue with all his might. Boo-hoo. I'm only in my 30s, and I'm definitely considered a peerless young man in this world. But in Leng Ruoxue's mouth, I actually became an old man in his 80s. Boo-hoo. What's with this girl's eyes? Do I look that old? Oh, then you must be at least 50, Leng Ruoxue continued guessing. Stop. Stop guessing. I'm scared of you. I'm only 35 this year, Lan Ming said gloomily while looking at Leng Qingtian and the others, who were secretly laughing. He was now very sure that this girl absolutely did it on purpose. Boo-hoo, deliberately bullying me. I'm sorry. I really can't tell, Leng Ruoxue said shyly, but she was laughing in her heart. Ha, Lan Ming is quite interesting. Then you know now, right? Lan Ming asked through gritted teeth. Okay, okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded obediently and stopped teasing him. Lan Ming glared at Leng Ruoxue, then closed his eyes and began cultivating. Time passed, and 3 hours went by quickly. But there was still no movement from the people in the small room. 4 hours. 5 hours. Still nothing happened. Only after 6 hours did the first stream of heaven and earth laws begin to descend. Immediately after, 2 more streams descended one after another. An hour later, the 3 old men completed the conversion of their spiritual power and officially became mystics. Not bad. Consolidate your foundation on the way. You can also participate in the competition. Lan Ming's handsome face was full of satisfaction as he watched the 3 people walk out of the small room. Hee, I'm a mystic too, old Zhao said with a silly smile. Yes, you are all mystics now. This is your identity card. Drip a drop of blood on it for it to recognize you as its master. Lan Ming reminded. After the 3 of them completed the last procedures to become mystics, Leng Ruoxue stood up and led everyone to leave. After returning to the residence, Leng Ruoxue sent the 3 old men into the bracelet while she discussed the competition with her grandfather and the others. On the day of departure, Lan Ming arrived at Leng Ruoxue and the others' residence early in the morning. President Lan, you're so early. Leng Ruoxue, who was still not fully awake, said with some displeasure in the living room. It's getting late. Why did you get up so late? Lan Ming was a little speechless. How could these people sleep so well? I was discussing something, so I slept late, Leng Ruoxue explained. Oh, pack up quickly. We have to set off. We have to reach West Wind Town before dusk today. Otherwise, we will have to sleep outdoors tonight, Lan Ming urged. Oh. Leng Ruoxue replied and returned to her room. She tidied up simply and waited in the courtyard with Freak. Leng Qingtian and the others walked out of their rooms not long later. President Lan, how are we going? Old Zhao asked Lan Ming. Taking my flying spirit beast. Lan Ming summoned his beast. Lan Ming's flying spirit beast was an enormous golden eagle. It was covered in golden feathers that were as sharp as blades, and its golden eyes were cold and sharp. As soon as the eagle appeared, it occupied the entire yard. Wow! What a big bird! Old Zhao sighed. This bird was even larger than the last quill. You're the bird, you damn old man. The golden eagle glanced at old Zhao with a displeased face. Ah! Old Zhao's face darkened. Boo-hoo, he was actually scolded by a bird that didn't admit to being a bird. But he was obviously a bird. Old Zhao was conflicted and depressed. Ha! You have personality. I like him. Old man was so happy seeing old Zhao deflated. He even praised the eagle. Alright, let's go, Lan Ming said while suppressing his smile. After Leng Ruoxue and the others sat on the back of the golden eagle, he flapped his giant wings, soared into the sky, and disappeared into the horizon with a strong gust. Several hours later. Lass, looks like we really have to sleep outdoors, Lan Ming said worriedly as he looked at the sky. It doesn't matter. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Along the way, she had been comparing Quill with this golden eagle. But she still felt that her beast was better. Although this eagle was higher level than Quill, his feathers were not as soft as Quill's, and it was not comfortable lying on him. Lass, no woman likes to sleep outdoors, Lan Ming couldn't help saying. Yes, you can choose not to treat me as a woman, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. She was not one of those pampered young ladies. If she wanted to become a powerhouse, this bit of suffering was nothing. Lan Ming had lived for more than 30 years, and this was the first time he had seen a woman as carefree as Leng Ruoxue. But he was a little impressed by her. Compared to those young ladies from noble families who thought they were talented, were arrogant, looked down on others, and were unwilling to suffer a bit of hardship, Leng Ruoxue could be considered quite low-key and was very good at enduring hardship. So he believed that she would become a true powerhouse one day. Since we can't reach West Wind Town before dark, let's find a place to camp. Leng Ruoxue continued. That's the only way, Lan Ming said helplessly. Nighttime on the boundless heaven continent wasn't safe, so even powerhouses were unwilling to travel at night. Chapter 353, Are you planning to rob us? 7. Jin Hui, let's find a place to camp. Lan Ming said to his beast. Yes, master. Jin Hui's huge golden eyes looked into the distance, and then he chose a wide place to land. Leng Ruoxue and the others jumped down from Jin Hui's back. They set up the tents and started a fire to prepare dinner. What are you doing? We're in the wilderness now. Lan Ming was a little dumbfounded while watching Leng Ruoxue take out piles of food from her ring and place them on spread-out paper. Of course we're eating. We can't treat our stomachs badly in the wilderness, Leng Ruoxue said matter-of-factly. They just dealt with it casually at noon, so of course they had to have a good meal tonight. But there's no need to be so exaggerated. Can we finish all this food? Lan Ming was a little scared. In his opinion, all this food was enough for 20 people. You'll know when the time comes. Hurry up and help. Otherwise, there won't be any food later, Leng Ruoxue half-ordered. Oh. Lan Ming answered and hurriedly walked over to help. When it was time to eat, Lan Ming realized that these people actually had enormous appetites. But the food was really delicious. He thought he had eaten all sorts of delicacies, but he had never eaten such delicious grilled meat and grilled fish. Ah! Were his chef's culinary skills too poor, or did he not eat anything really delicious? He was lost. So full. After dinner, everyone was too lazy to move. They simply lay down and stopped moving. Ha! So many fat sheep. Suddenly, arrogant laughter sounded in everyone's ears. Lan Ming was shocked. Oh no, could something I was afraid of come? The reason the nights on the boundless heaven continent were not safe was all because of the most notorious bandits on the continent. Many of these bandits were powerful mystics. In addition, there were a lot of them. So many powerhouses would rather not travel at night than run into them. Lying in Freak's arms, Leng Ruoxue raised her eyes slightly and glanced at the bandits who appeared out of nowhere. There were at least several hundred bandits in front of her, and most of them were actually mystics. The leader was at least a great mystic, but because he hadn't released his mystic power, she couldn't see his level. Are you planning to rob us? Leng Ruoxue asked lightly. The leader of the bandits didn't say anything, but a small lackey rushed forward to speak. Isn't it obvious? You found the wrong people. We're very poor, Leng Ruoxue said pitifully. No money. Then we can sell that man. He can be exchanged for a few coins with his looks. As for you ugly monsters, forget it. Just kill them. Another person pointed at Lan Ming. Ha! Leng Ruoxue couldn't help laughing. Where did these bandits come from? They're so funny. They actually want to sell the president of a mystic association branch. Hee hee, I wonder where they want to sell Lan Ming. She was a little curious. Say that again. Lan Ming roared furiously when he heard that these bandits actually wanted to sell him. TCH, since you don't have money, we'll have to sell you for money, the bandit said recklessly. Lan Ming turned his head and said to Leng Ruoxua, "Lass, I can't take it anymore." "Oh, go on then. I'll cheer for you." Leng Ruoxua pretended to be stupid. "Lass, are you so disloyal?" Lan Ming asked pitifully as several black lines rolled down his forehead. "What can I do? I'm weak, and my life is important." "Old man, you can count on yourself." Leng Ruoxua smiled lightly, her eyes full of teasing. "Lass, you can't do this. You can't deal with the leader, but you can deal with these small fries," Lan Ming reminded. The bandit leader was actually a mystic monarch. Alas! A mighty mystic monarch is actually a bandit. I really don't know what he's thinking. Leng Ruoxua looked up at the bandit leader. This leader was in his early 30s, tall, handsome, resolute, and had an extraordinary aura. Why would such a person be a bandit? She really couldn't understand. Leng Ruoxua glanced at Lan Ming lightly and said lightly, "Just leave the small fries to the spirit beasts to deal with. I'm too full and don't want to move." "Lass, you have to exercise even more after eating," Lan Ming advised. He couldn't tell whether Leng Ruoxua was joking or serious now. He was confused by this little girl. "Old man, you can do it. You must have confidence in yourself," Leng Ruoxua encouraged. "There are too many of them," Lan Ming said with a slight headache. The dense group of bandits seemed to have at least a few hundred people. Were they planning to take turns fighting? "Don't be scared. At worst, I'll lend you old Zao," Leng Ruoxua said very kindly. "Lass, even you can't do it, let alone an old man like me. Spare me." Old Zao said hurriedly. "Boo-hoo, how could he be a match for these bandits? Wasn't this killing him?" "Old Zao, you have to grasp the opportunities that the little girl gives you. It's up to you whether we can live or not." Old man covered his mouth and smirked. "Damn old man, scram to the side." Old Zao roared furiously. "Ha!" Leng Ruoxua couldn't help laughing again. Sometimes, watching these two old men bicker was quite interesting. "Lass, I just entertained you. You can't let me throw my life away." Old Zao said pitifully, tears seeming to be shining in his eyes. "Yes, yes. Old Lan can deal with these bandits alone," Leng Ruoxua said confidently. She wanted to see Lan Ming's strength, so how could she help? "That's good." Old Zao wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and was finally at ease. "Lass, are you really so disloyal?" Lan Ming asked pitifully with a bitter face. "Alas! How can this girl be more cunning than a fox?" Chapter 354, You Are So Ugly, 1, Yes. "This young lady doesn't know what loyalty is," Leng Ruoxua said calmly, but she was already laughing in her heart. "Hee, this time, Lan Ming has to attack." "Hey, have you decided yet?" a robber asked impatiently. Leng Ruoxua glanced at the robber and said lightly, "What's the hurry? Haven't we been discussing it?" She turned her head and said to Lan Ming, "Old Lan, hurry up and attack. They're getting impatient from waiting. Remember, you can do it." "Ah. Okay." Lan Ming braced himself. "Boo-hoo. I can't let this little woman look down on me. Hey, you. Let's fight." Lan Ming pointed at the bandit leader. "I'm not interested in you," the bandit leader said coolly, not even looking at Lan Ming. "Ha!" Leng Ruoxua couldn't resist laughing again. This bandit leader really has character. The bandit leader looked at Leng Ruoxua and said with slight displeasure, "Is it very funny?" "Isn't it funny?" Leng Ruoxua asked. "It's not funny at all," the bandit leader said very seriously. Leng Ruoxua looked up and down at the bandit leader and finally gave a very neutral evaluation. "You have no sense of humor." "Yes, I know." The bandit leader nodded in agreement. "Which one of you wants to fight me? Aren't you going to sell me?" "If you defeat me, I'll let you sell me," roared Lan Ming, who was completely ignored and couldn't tolerate it anymore. Old Lan, you have to calm down. Leng Ruoxue advised with several black lines hanging on her forehead. Alas! It seems old Lan is really mad. I can't calm down, Lan Ming said irritably. Boo-hoo. It was one thing to be bullied by a little girl, but these blind bandits actually dared to bully him. They would really think he was a weakling if he didn't show his might. After speaking, Lan Ming directly launched an attack at the group of bandits. Humph. I'll attack first since you won't. Immediately, light blue water attribute mystic power danced in the air and entangled the group of bandits. After a while, a fifth of the bandits died. But the bandit leader only watched from the side without any intention of making a move. Hey, if you don't do anything, all your subordinates will die, Leng Ruoxue reminded kindly. This bandit leader was really incomprehensible. He actually ignored the deaths and injuries of his subordinates, and his fierce eyes only stared at her fiercely. It was really strange. She was so ugly now, so what was there to look at? Could it be that he had never seen such an ugly woman? They aren't my subordinates, the bandit leader said nonchalantly. Ah! 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Leng Ruoxue's forehead. What is this? Those bandits obviously respect him, but this big bandit actually doesn't admit that these small fries are his subordinates. It's really too strange. The bandit leader saw through Leng Ruoxue's thoughts and explained, we are just cooperating. Oh. Then why are you looking at me? Don't tell me you're dazzled by my beauty. Leng Ruoxue teased. You're too ugly. I've never seen such an ugly woman in my life, the bandit leader said honestly. Thank you for the compliment, Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. You're welcome. Let's spar. If you win, it'll be yours from now on, the bandit leader suggested very seriously. Hearing this, Leng Ruoxue was at a loss for words. What do you mean you'll be mine from now on? Please don't make it sound so ambiguous. I have a jealous lover by my side. Sure enough, Freak flew into a rage before Leng Ruoxue could say anything. Damn it! Who do you think you are? Shuer is mine. Freak roared furiously. The bandit leader looked at Freak and then said very seriously, yes, you are also ugly. You two are a very good match. Ah. Upon hearing this, Freak was at a loss for what to do. It seemed that he didn't intend to snatch Shuer from him. How is it? Let's spar, the bandit leader asked again. Leng Ruoxue glanced at him and said with slight displeasure, your strength is above mine. Aren't you bullying me by sparring with me? We're not competing in mystic power, the bandit leader said. Ah. Then what should we compete on? Leng Ruoxue asked doubtfully. I want to compete in alchemy with you. The bandit leader said something shocking. Ah. Alchemy? You found the wrong person. Leng Ruoxue said in surprise, but she couldn't help thinking, how does this guy know that I'm an alchemist? I believe my senses. You must have taken an appearance-changing pill, the bandit leader said with certainty. He felt very dense fire attribute mystic power on Leng Ruoxue's body, and coupled with her appearance-changing pill, he guessed that the woman in front of him was an alchemist. Are you an alchemist? Leng Ruoxue asked calmly. This man had to be talented in alchemy since he could tell that she had taken an appearance-changing pill. Yes. The bandit leader nodded. So, are you competing with me? The bandit leader urged. Okay. But if you lose, you have to be my subordinate and always be loyal to me, Leng Ruoxue said. No problem, as long as you can defeat me. The bandit leader nodded. Well, compete after old Lan takes care of the small fries. Leng Ruoxue looked at Lan Ming. Okay, the bandit leader replied and stood to the side to watch the battle. Go help old Lan. Leng Ruoxue let Charm, Darling, Dazzle, and the other beasts out after seeing that Lan Ming was so busy. Well, if she didn't help soon, old Lan would be exhausted. Lass, at least you have some conscience, Lan Ming shouted at Leng Ruoxue when he saw the beasts that suddenly joined in the fight. I didn't do it to help you. I did it to give my beasts a chance to train, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Chapter 355, You Are So Ugly, too. Lass, will it kill you to let me be happy? Lan Ming complained. I'll be happy if you're not happy. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Alas. You ungrateful damn girl, why don't you just anger me to death? Lan Ming said gloomily. That won't do. You still owe me money. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Lan Ming really wanted to vomit blood. What does she mean by I still owe her money? That's obviously a remuneration, okay? How did it become money I owe her? Boo-hoo. Women and villains are really the hardest to raise. Old Lan, don't be lazy. Hurry up and destroy these bandits. I have serious business. Leng Ruoxue urged. Damn girl, I'm so tired. Which eye of yours saw me slacking off? Lan Ming roared. Not far away, Jin Hui, who was fighting dozens of bandits, looked at his master with incomparable pity. Alas! Poor master! You have never won a quarrel against that little demon. Why haven't you learned your lesson? Swear, are we really not going to help? Leng Qingtian asked softly. He was a little embarrassed seeing President Lan fighting 100 people alone. Grandpa, don't worry. Old Lan can handle it. We have to have confidence in him. Leng Ruoxue gave her grandfather a reassuring look and comforted him. That's right. Don't we have a ready-made goon? Why would we need to do anything? Old Zhao said matter-of-factly. Poor Lan Ming had already been treated as a goon. Ha, Grandpa, calm down. Leng Ruoxue smiled gently. Old Zhao's words really matched her thoughts. Alas. All right then. Leng Qingtian looked at Lan Ming sympathetically. Alas. President Lan, it's not that I don't want to help. You're really too strong. As the saying goes, the capable work harder. So, sorry to trouble you. The mouth of the bandit leader, who was standing not far away, kept twitching as he thought, who are these people? He was starting to doubt his judgment. Did I find the wrong person? About half an hour later, when the last ray of mystic power disappeared in front of everyone, all the bandits were eliminated. Lass, what should we do with this leader? Lan Ming looked at the bandit leader. He can't be killed. He's my future subordinate, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Ah. Lan Ming was stunned. Did something happen that he didn't know? His mind was on the battle just now, so he didn't notice the situation here. He wants to compete in alchemy with me. He will become my subordinate if he loses, Leng Ruoxue explained. Ah. Lass, are you also an alchemist? Why didn't you tell me? Lan Ming was surprised. This girl's potential as a mystic was already so shocking. If she was also an alchemist, then he simply couldn't imagine her future. Do I have to tell everyone I meet that I'm an alchemist? Moreover, you didn't ask me. Leng Ruoxue said innocently. Ah. I was wrong. I shouldn't have argued with you about this, Lan Ming said a little gloomily, but he couldn't help grumbling in his head, do I have to ask everyone I see if they're an alchemist? You are a good boy for recognizing your mistake and correcting it, Leng Ruoxue praised. Thank you, Lan Ming said with a bitter face. He glared at Jin Hui, who was hiding at the side and laughing secretly. Boo-hoo, even my beast is laughing at me. Can we start the competition now? The bandit leader asked. Let's begin. Leng Ruoxue nodded and took out a small pill furnace from the bracelet. Wow! Lass, your pill furnace is really too. Old Zhao didn't know how to describe this pill furnace. As an artificer, he knew very well how high the quality of the pill furnace Leng Ruoxue took out was. Moreover, He guessed that it shouldn't be her best pill furnace. The bandit leader's eyes lit up. He looked at the palm-sized pill furnace and almost drooled. This pill furnace was definitely a dream for alchemists. Boo-hoo, he looked at the slightly crude pill furnace in his hand and felt a little inferior. If I win, you have to give me this pill furnace, the bandit leader said shamelessly after calming down. No problem. I'll give it to you even if you lose. I've always been generous to my subordinates, Leng Ruoxue said readily. Hey, leader. You're not using a pill furnace, are you? Old Zhao stared at the pill furnace in the bandit leader's hand for a long time before he realized that it wasn't a pill furnace at all. It was obviously an ore that had yet to melt completely. He had lived for so long, and this was the first time he had seen an alchemist use a raw ore for alchemy. There's nothing I can do. I can only use this, the bandit leader said gloomily. Alas. He had to think of a way to replace this crude pill furnace. Use this. Leng Ruoxue couldn't bear to watch any longer and handed the pill furnace to the bandit leader. This fellow couldn't escape from her palm anyway. Thank you. I am Zheng Yan, the bandit leader said gratefully. He hurriedly took the pill furnace Leng Ruoxue handed to him and hugged it tightly in his arms as if he had obtained a treasure, afraid that it would be snatched away. After giving the pill furnace to Zheng Yan, Leng Ruoxue took out another pill furnace from the bracelet and placed it in front of herself. Let's begin. Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Ah. Why do you have so many pill furnaces? Zheng Yan asked dumbfoundedly. He couldn't even get a decent pill furnace, but this woman actually took out 2 at once. Boo-hoo, comparisons were odious. They were both alchemists, but why was the difference so big? My master left them for me. Are we going to compete or not? Leng Ruoxue urged. Compete. Let's begin. Zheng Yan hurriedly said. As the saying went, a gift blinds the eyes. He couldn't be cool anymore after taking Leng Ruoxue's pill furnace. Light the fire first. Leng Ruoxue said modestly. Men first. You light it first. Zheng Yan also gave in modestly. Brat, hurry up. What are you being so long-winded for? Old Zhao urged, not being able to take it anymore. Chapter 356, You Are So Ugly, 3, Oh, alright then. Zheng Yan nodded helplessly and then lit the pill furnace. It's actually a divine flame. Old Zhao's eyes widened in jealousy as he looked at the red and purple flame. Boo-hoo. I want a divine flame too. Leng Ruoxue looked at her future subordinate with satisfaction. People who possessed a natal divine flame were considered rare. She didn't expect to meet one. Ha! Great! Leng Ruoxue saw that the other party had already lit the pill furnace, and a small flame lit on her fingertips. As soon as this small flame appeared, the people originally surrounding her immediately jumped away and looked at her with fear on their faces. Zheng Yan, who was taking out herbs from his ring, also looked at her in disbelief. What are you doing? Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. What's with their gazes? Lass, do you want to grill us alive? Old Zhao was a little speechless. This girl's flame temperature actually rose again. Swear, we can't stand the temperature of your flame, Ling Qingtian explained. Ah. Leng Ruoxue was speechless. Is the temperature of this flame really that high? Why don't I feel it? Freak, is the temperature of this flame very high? Leng Ruoxue turned her head and asked Freak, the only one who didn't leave her side. It's all right, Freak said ingratiatingly. His words attracted several disdainful gazes. You're the best, Leng Ruoxue praised while caressing Freak's head like she was petting a puppy. Yes, of course. Freak was so proud. Hee hee, Shuer praised me again. What kind of flame is this? Zheng Yan couldn't help asking when he returned to his senses. This flame could actually make his natal divine flame feel fear. How was this possible? This was too unbelievable. His flame was a rare divine flame. It's considered a divine flame, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. In fact, she didn't know what her current flame was. In short, the pills or equipment refined by her current flame were definitely better quality than before. Zheng En was speechless. What do you mean by that? Are we still going to compete? Let's begin quickly, Leng Ruoxue urged. She was a little sleepy and wanted to sleep. What's there to compete about now? I admit defeat, Zheng En said helplessly. The level of this woman's flame was higher than his and completely suppressed his flame. So even if he competed, he would definitely lose. What was there to compete about now? Brat, at least you know your place. Fighting with this girl is just courting death. Old Zhao patted Zheng En's shoulder. Yes, that's right. Her flame suppressed my flame. I absolutely can't exert my best strength. Zheng En nodded in agreement. Can my flame suppress your flame? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. She had never competed with anyone else other than during the academy competition, so she didn't know that her flame could actually suppress other flames. Of course. I can feel fear from my natal flame. Zheng En nodded. But my flame didn't seem to suppress the other flames during the academy competition? Leng Ruoxue asked doubtfully and turned to old Zhao. Lass, don't look at me. You know your own flame best, old Zhao said hurriedly. Divine flames might not be able to suppress other flames too much, but this girl's flame was probably not a divine flame anymore. So it was normal for it to suppress other flames. Is it because of evolution? Leng Ruoxue pondered. Immediately after, she seemed to feel the emotions transmitted by her natal flame. It seemed to be saying that she was right. Lass, you should try to compete less with others in the future. Old Zhao continued. Alas. Anyone who dared to compete with this girl was courting death. Okay, I'll handle the competitions in your place from now on. Zheng En nodded vigorously. Then Zheng En suddenly knelt on one knee and swore very seriously, I, Zheng En, am willing to acknowledge. Zheng En glanced at Leng Ruoxue, depressed. He actually forgot to ask for this ugly woman's name. Boo-hoo. Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue said. Oh. I, Zheng En, am willing to acknowledge Leng Ruoxue as my master. I will always be loyal and will never betray her. Zheng En swore to the heavens. Then the contract array descended, and the contract was formally established. Leng Ruoxue felt the mental connection between her and Zheng En and nodded with satisfaction. Oh. This Zheng En is quite tactful. He knows to establish a contract to show his loyalty. But what she didn't expect even more was that Zheng En was actually a mystic monarch. Zheng En, where is your bandit lair? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. Ah. Miss, it's not far from here, Zheng En answered respectfully as 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down his forehead. Alas. He knew what his master wanted to do even without guessing. Bring us there. Leng Ruoxue said calmly. Since they wanted to rob them, they had to be prepared to be robbed. Anyway, all the bandits were dead, and the bandit leader had become her subordinate. The wealth they had painstakingly robbed for so many years shouldn't be left for others to take advantage of, so she would keep it for them. Yes, miss, Zheng En said. Leng Ruoxue sent the beasts into the bracelet, and everyone packed their things simply. Then Zheng En led the way to the bandit lair. About 20 minutes later, Zheng En led Leng Ruoxue and the others to a residential house. Zheng En, we didn't come to the wrong place, did we? Leng Ruoxue was speechless as she looked at the tall and grand mansion in front of her. Why were bandits living so well? No wonder even mystics went to be bandits. Miss, this is the right place, Zheng En said with certainty. Ah. He also knew that this place was not very convincing, but this was really the bandit lair. Let's go in and take a look. Leng Ruoxue pushed open the door and walked straight in. Chapter 357, You Are So Ugly. 4. After entering, Leng Ruoxue and the others were even more astonished because just the yard was luxurious and spacious enough to make people dumbfounded. Moreover, there were many rooms in the yard. From the appearance alone, the dazzling aura was absolutely comparable to the main hall of an imperial palace. No wonder even mystics are bandits, old Zhao said with a sense of inferiority. Boo-hoo, he had never lived in such a good house in all his life. Yes, I want to be a bandit too. Leng Ruoxue nodded in agreement. No matter how noble a mystic status was, they probably wouldn't be able to earn as quickly as bandits. This was a no-brainer business. After hearing what Leng Ruoxue said, Lan Ming was at a loss for words. Aren't you doing what bandits do now? Miss, it's not easy being a bandit now either. Zheng En complained with a bitter face. Why? Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. As a bandit, you have to be prepared to be killed at any time. Moreover, the first rule of being a bandit is that robbery is allowed but absolutely not killing. Otherwise, once you become the public enemy of the entire continent, everyone will kill you, Zheng En explained. Didn't those bandits say that they wanted to kill us just now? Leng Ruoxue said speechlessly. Actually, they were just scaring you. They wouldn't have really killed you. But there was really a possibility of selling him for some money. After all, they can't work for nothing. Zheng En pointed at Lan Ming. Unfortunately, the bandits kicked an iron plate this time and were wiped out instead. Ha, those bandits have good taste. He can indeed sell for a good price. Leng Ruoxue smiled happily. But I'm curious. Where would they have sold old Lan? Leng Ruoxue asked. There are many places, such as to the daughters of noble families who like beauty, Zheng En said. Ugh. Leng Ruoxue deliberately dragged it out, causing Lan Ming to roll his eyes. Miss, actually, I only had a cooperative relationship with those bandits, Zheng En continued. What kind of cooperation? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. They provided me with all sorts of herbs, and I had to strengthen their imposing manner because I was the strongest among them. Zheng En said helplessly. Alas. He had no choice but to ally with those bandits for the sake of herbs. Boo-hoo. Those bandits were quite smart. They really knew how to use you to intimidate people, Leng Ruoxue praised. So what? They still died in your hands. Zheng En looked at Lan Ming. He knew that this man was very strong from the moment he saw him. Miss, all the treasures they robbed over the years are here. While speaking, Zheng En had already brought Leng Ruoxue and the others to an inconspicuous room. Open the door. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Okay. Zheng En opened the door with the key and led Leng Ruoxue and the others in. Leng Ruoxue and the others walked into the room and saw the casually piled treasures. They no longer wanted to say anything. Lass. I think we should just become bandits too. With our strength, we will definitely rob more than them, old Zhao suggested with shining eyes. Old Zhao, this idea suits me very well. Leng Ruoxue teased, but her eyes turned to Lan Ming. Why are you looking at me? I won't stoop that low, Lan Ming said resolutely. Really? I'll wait and see. Leng Ruoxue smiled deviously. Miss, do you really want to be a bandit? Zheng En said dumbfoundedly. Was he destined to be unable to get rid of his identity as a bandit for the rest of his life? Boo-hoo. Leng Ruoxue gave Zheng En a knock on the head and said with a smile, Of course not. This young lady will only rob people who provoke me. Ha! Oh, that's good. Zheng En was relieved. He didn't want to be a bandit anymore. He had no choice in the past. Leng Ruoxue unceremoniously stored all the treasures in the room into the bracelet and confidently claimed them. Lass, you're rich this time. This wealth is enough to match the entire wealth of a medium-sized family, Lan Ming said. This isn't enough either. Leng Ruoxue said gloomily with a frown. Boo-hoo. There are too many family members. This isn't enough. How many people are there in your family? Lan Ming asked in disbelief. Too many, Len Ruoxue said with a slight headache. Lan Ming was speechless. If this amount of wealth wasn't enough to support them, then there must be a lot of people in their family. Len Ruoxue turned to Zheng Yan. Zheng Yan, let's stay here for the night and leave tomorrow. Okay, Mississippi. But where are we going? Zheng Yan asked curiously. To Carefree City, Len Ruoxue said. Ah. Carefree City. Miss, can I not go? Zheng Yan said with a troubled expression. Why? Len Ruoxue looked at Zheng Yan doubtfully, her watery eyes saying, give me a reasonable explanation. I don't want to go to Carefree City, Zheng Yan stammered. Give me a reason, Len Ruoxue half-ordered while glaring at Zheng Yan. Zheng Yan braced himself and said honestly, the Alchemist Association headquarters is also in Carefree City, so I don't want to go. Boo-hoo. I wonder if Miss will chase me away after knowing about my past. Do you have any trouble with the Alchemy Association headquarters? Len Ruoxue guessed, but her face was full of realization. Miss, actually. I'm an alchemist who was expelled from the Alchemist Association headquarters. I've already been disqualified from being an alchemist, so I had no way of obtaining medicinal herbs. And as a last resort, I transacted with those bandits, Zheng Yan explained with a pained expression. Ah! Could you be that Zheng Yan? Lan Ming suddenly shouted. No wonder he found the name familiar. But it had been too long, so he couldn't remember it immediately. Yes, I am the Zheng Yan who was expelled from the Alchemist Association headquarters 15 years ago. Zheng Yan said coldly, his eyes full of hatred. Alas! It had been 15 years, but his heart still bled every time he thought about that matter. Chapter 358, Provocation, 1. I don't care what kind of enmity you have with someone in the Alchemist Association headquarters, but you have to go to Carefree City. As for your hatred, you have to take revenge for yourself, Len Ruoxue said lightly. Although she didn't ask him in detail about the cause and effect of the matter, she could guess what kind of treatment he had received. After all, such a matter was not strange no matter where it was. Miss, it's not that I don't want to take revenge. It's just that my enemy is very powerful now. I'm not his match, Zheng Yan said helplessly. Just because you don't have strength now doesn't mean you won't have it in the future. I didn't ask you to seek revenge now. What's the rush? Len Ruoxue smiled lightly. Since Zheng Yan was already hers now, then of course she couldn't stand by and watch others bully her own people. Yes, I'm not in a hurry. I've already endured for so many years. Sooner or later, I will take revenge for being framed with my own hands, Zheng Yan said vigorously as if he was a different person. Brat Zheng, that's right. Don't worry. We will definitely help you if you want revenge. Old Zhao patted Zheng Yan's shoulder like they were good brothers. Yes, thank you. Zheng Yan felt warmth in his heart after hearing what old Zhao said. He had been alone for more than a decade, and it was impossible for him to truly befriend those bandits. So this was the first time he felt warmth in more than a decade. After seeing Zheng Yan regain his confidence, Len Ruoxue said, everyone, rest early today. Let's continue going tomorrow morning. Okay, Len Qingtian and the others answered and went to find rooms to rest. But Lan Ming didn't leave. Len Ruoxue glanced at Lan Ming. President Lan, do you have something to say? Lass, what happened back then was very troublesome and complicated. I advise you not to get involved, Lan Ming said after some thought. Zheng Yan is now my subordinate. Do you think I won't be involved? Len Ruoxue asked calmly. I think it's better to let Zheng Yan stay here for the time being. You can pick him up after the Mystic Association's competition is over, Lan Ming suggested. What he implied was that it was best not to let Zheng Yan go to Carefree City, lest he was recognized. There's no need. But if you're afraid of trouble, President Lan, we can part ways here. Leng Ruoxu's tone suddenly became a little cold. Humph. In your dreams. You want to get rid of me now that you have a new road to becoming rich, right? Dream on. Lan Minghua roared. Boo-hoo, his good intentions were actually treated as ill intent. He felt wronged. He had always thought that he was already friends with them, but this heartless little girl actually wanted to chase him away because of Zheng Yan, whom she had only known for a short while. Boo-hoo. So sad. When did I say I wanted to get rid of you? I was afraid you would find it troublesome. Leng Ruoxue said speechlessly as 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down her forehead. Why is this guy so unreasonable? Humph. If you're not afraid, why should I be? Lan Ming roared gloomily. Since you're not afraid, then go to sleep. We have to travel early tomorrow morning. Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Then she left with Freak, leaving Lan Ming sullen and alone. After staying in the bandit lair for the night, Leng Ruoxue and the others set off the next morning. 10 days later. Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived at Nightless City. This city is Nightless City. After passing through this city, we will reach Carefree City, Lan Ming explained outside the city gate while looking at the tall and grand city walls. After 10 days of traveling, they were almost at their destination. Nightless City. Do you mean that nighttime here is as lively as daytime? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. Yes, the nights here are also brightly lit and bustling, Lan Ming said. Is this city bigger than Windless City? Leng Ruoxue asked. About the same. They're both not too big, Lan Ming answered. Old Lan, do mystics have any other preferential treatments? Leng Ruoxue asked. During the few days of being with Lan Ming, she had learned that mystics weren't charged any fees for entering cities. If inns are full, mystics have priority to stay. If 2 groups of guests are both mystics, the higher level one is the most respected, Lan Ming said with a smile. Oh. Old Lan, let's enter the city. Let's find a place to rest and then continue tomorrow, Leng Ruoxue said after understanding the situation. Let's go. There's an inn owned by our Mystic Association in Nightless City. Mystics get a discount there, Lan Ming said. Why isn't it free? The Mystic Association really takes enough. It even collects money from its own people, Leng Ruoxue thought. The association has to earn money too. The entire Boundless Heaven continent has a population of billions. No matter how few mystics there are still hundreds of thousands. If everything was free, then the association wouldn't be able to support the mystics no matter how much money it has. But it's completely free for mystics at or above Mystic Sovereign, Lan Ming said with a light smile. Oh. Leng Ruoxue nodded understandingly. Then everyone walked into Nightless City. We're here. This is it. After walking for a while, Lan Ming pointed at a gilded signboard in midair. On the signboard were 2 large words, Mystic Association. Leng Ruoxue looked at the signboard of the inn in front of her. This Mystic Association is really lazy. It didn't even bother to name it and just directly wrote the words Mystic Association on the signboard. Lass, this place is easy to recognize, right? Lan Ming said proudly. Yes. Very easy to recognize. Leng Ruoxue braced herself and echoed. If this place wasn't easy to recognize, what else would be easy to recognize? Leng Ruoxue and the others walked into the inn of the Mystic Association with Lan Ming. President Lan, who are they? The innkeeper asked in puzzlement while looking at the people behind Lan Ming when they arrived at the front desk. They are the representatives of our association, Lan Ming explained lightly. Chapter 359, Provocation, 2, Ah. No way. The innkeeper thought he had heard wrong. There were actually representatives from Windless City's Mystic Association participating in the competition. Moreover, how could there be such ugly mystics? It was too unbelievable. Do you think I would lie to you? Lan Ming glared at him angrily. Humph. These bastards who judge others by their appearance will suffer if they anger that little girl. He couldn't help gloating at the thought. No, no. Why would President Lan lie to me? The innkeeper hurriedly said. To be honest, he really didn't think very highly of the ugly mystics Lan Ming brought. Then quickly arrange rooms for us. Lan Ming said impatiently. Humph. These snobbish fellows will be taught a lesson sooner or later. President Lan, there are only 2 rooms left, the innkeeper said with a troubled expression. How is that possible? Shouldn't you reserve rooms for the major association branches? Lan Ming said angrily. The Mystic Inn of Nightless City would reserve rooms for the major association branches in every official competition of the Mystic Association. This was the usual practice. There were some at first, but President Zhou brought too many mystics. There weren't enough rooms reserved for them, so, the innkeeper stammered, his eyes a little evasive. So you gave our rooms to them? Lan Ming was angry. This is too much. President Lan, I didn't have a choice either. I can't afford to offend President Zhou. Moreover, it was President Zhou who said that no one from your branch would participate in the competition. That's why I gave him the rooms, the innkeeper hastily explained. Boo-hoo. The Mystic Association of Windless City had forfeited the previous competition, so he didn't expect them to send people this time. Do you mean that you can afford to offend me, but you can't afford to offend President Zhou? Lan Ming narrowed his eyes in displeasure. No, that's not what I mean. We can't afford to offend either of you. The innkeeper was so anxious that he was about to cry. Boo-hoo, could he pretend to faint? Old Lan, forget it. Why fuss over it with a servant? 2 rooms are enough, Leng Ruoxue said calmly. That's true. It's beneath my status to fuss over something with a servant. Lan Ming smiled elegantly. Bring us to our rooms quickly. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Yes, please follow me, the innkeeper said cautiously. Boo-hoo, why was this ugly woman's aura more terrifying than President Lan's? Sirs and madam, these are the 2 rooms. The innkeeper led Leng Ruoxue and the others to the 3rd floor and pointed at the 2 innermost rooms. Old Lan, we want to cultivate. You can have a room to yourself. Leng Ruoxue casually pushed open a door and walked in directly. Freak and the others followed closely behind. If there's nothing important, don't disturb us, Lan Ming said coldly to the innkeeper after seeing Leng Ruoxue and the others enter the room. Then he pushed open the door and entered his room. In Leng Ruoxue and the others' room. Miss, I want to enter the space, Zheng En said impatiently as soon as Leng Ruoxue entered the room before they could even size up the room. Brat Zheng, why are you in such a hurry? Old Zhao was a little speechless. If not for Lan Ming, this brat would probably have stayed inside and refused to come out. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue brought everyone into the bracelet with a thought. As soon as Zheng En entered the bracelet, he immediately ran to the medicinal fields. His eyes lit up as he looked at the precious herbs, and he was almost drooling. Don't drop your saliva on my herbs, the little black dog, who had been guarding the medicinal fields, warned. I want, Zheng En quickly promised and sat down beside the medicinal fields like the little black dog. Leng Ruoxue looked helplessly at the man and dog beside the medicinal fields and shook her head with a chuckle. Since the first time she brought Zheng En here, he hadn't wanted to go out. Moreover, as long as he stayed in the bracelet, she would definitely be able to find him in the medicinal fields. Alas! What a pill maniac! Zheng En's obsession with pills and herbs really made her blush with shame. Freak, let's rest early. Leng Ruoxue turned to Freak. Okay. Freak nodded and pulled Leng Ruoxue into the purple bamboo house. As for Leng Qingtian and the others, they had long returned to their houses to cultivate mystic skills. The next morning, Leng Ruoxue brought everyone out of the bracelet. Mississippi. Zheng En looked at Leng Ruoxue pitifully, his eyes full of pleading. Boo-hoo, there was a very precious herb that was about to mature today. Such an opportunity was rare to come by in 1,000 years. We should go. There will be more chances in the future, Len Ruoxue coaxed helplessly as 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down her forehead. Alas! She really couldn't get used to being looked at by a tall, burly, and resolute man with such a pitiful gaze. Standing beside Len Ruoxue, Freak rapped Zheng'an on the head and roared with displeasure, "You're not allowed to learn from me. Damn it. He actually wants to pretend to be pitiful like me. Humph. Not a chance. My swear won't pity other men." "I didn't," Zheng'an said aggrievedly with tears in his eyes. "Boo-hoo. Miss Man is so fierce. Go out. Don't make Lan Ming wait anxiously." Len Ruoxue suppressed her smile. "Hee, Freak is cuter when he's pretending to be pitiful." Len Ruoxue and the others exited the room and happened to see Lan Ming pacing around in the corridor. "Old Lan, what's wrong?" Len Ruoxue asked curiously. Why was Lan Ming like an ant on a hot pan? "Lass, you came out at the right time. I want to tell you about President Zhou." Lan Ming was about to say something when Len Ruoxue interrupted him. "Old Lan, I'm not interested in unimportant people," Len Ruoxue said without much interest. "Lass, listen to me." Lan Ming sighed helplessly. "All right, tell me." Len Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Chapter 360, Provocation. 3. Lass, that President Zhou's full name is Zhou Kun, and he is the president of Sun Zhou City's Mystic Association. Sun Zhou City is one of the 3 main cities of the Boundless Heaven continent, and its area is much larger than Carefree cities. Moreover, it is the main city of the Sun family. The Zhou family is Sun Zhou City's second largest family, and the Zhou family has had a very close relationship with the Sun family for thousands of years. This Zhou Kun is the first son of the Zhou family and is extremely talented. His mother is also the eldest young lady of the Sun family, so Zhou Kun's status in the Sun family is also very high. Zhou Kun is the beloved disciple of the vice president of the Mystic Association headquarters, and my master is the president. However, my master has been in seclusion for many years, so basically the vice president decides everything in the Mystic Association headquarters. He has always hoped that his beloved disciple could inherit the position of president of the Mystic Association headquarters, so he has been suppressing me. He was the one who arranged for me to be sent to the Mystic Association in Windless City, Lan Ming explained. "Old Lan, you're from the Lan family, right? Isn't that vice president afraid of offending the Lan family by doing this?" Len Ruoxue asked curiously. "Alas. Lass, I'm from a branch family of the Lan family. Moreover, the Mystic Association has regulations that the direct descendants of the 3 great families are not allowed to hold important positions in the Mystic Association. Moreover, even if I'm from a branch family, becoming a president of the Mystic Association is equivalent to leaving the family, so the family naturally won't protect me," Lan Ming said helplessly. "It seems like the Mystic Association has a lot of rules," Len Ruoxue said in realization. This was probably a last resort to prevent the Mystic Association from being controlled by the 3 great families. However, she didn't think it was a good idea. "Yes." Lan Ming nodded in agreement. "Doesn't Zhou Kun also have a close relationship with the Sun family? If he becomes the president, what's the difference between him and the Sun family being the president?" Len Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. In her opinion, this was simply exchanging soup for medicine. He isn't a true member of the Sun family after all. So if he becomes the president, he won't violate the rules of the Mystic Association." 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Lan Ming's forehead. Alas! Must this girl be so sharp? Even though this is something everyone knows, no one has dared to ask so directly. "If I'm not mistaken, you didn't really break away from the Lan family, right?" Len Ruoxue said calmly. "Rules were dead, but people were alive. People could find loopholes in rules and use them at any time. This had long been an unchanging fact. Yes, I have to do my duty for the Lan family, but the Lan family doesn't have any responsibilities to me, Lan Ming said helplessly. This was probably the sorrow of the descendants of aristocratic families. They would always be pawns of their families, and they even had to sacrifice their lives if necessary for the sake of their family's strength. Haven't you thought about changing your destiny? Leng Ruoxue asked calmly. That won't be easy. Lan Ming sighed. As long as you have the heart, there's nothing you can't do. Leng Ruoxue didn't agree at all with Lan Ming's slightly negative thoughts because becoming stronger had always been her goal. She knew very well that only by becoming a powerhouse above everyone could she control her own destiny, so she had always been working in this direction. Lass, you really don't understand the power of a family. How could Lan Ming not want to break free from his family's control? But he couldn't do it at all at present. Hee, this girl is our family head. Her words are like an imperial edict to us. What else does she need to know? Old Zhao interrupted. That's true. Oh right, lass, we might be going on the road with Zhou Kun and the others later, Lan Ming reminded. Why? Leng Ruoxue asked with some displeasure. She didn't want to go with that Zhou what's-his-name. I was notified this morning that the headquarters has already sent people to fetch us, so I guess we have to set off together. This was also the main reason why he told Leng Ruoxue about Zhou Kun. On the way, he had already understood Leng Ruoxue's character of taking revenge for any enmity, so he was very afraid that she would have a conflict with Zhou Kun. After all, she was definitely not Zhou Kun's match now. Oh, don't worry. As long as he doesn't provoke me, I won't take the initiative to provoke him, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. But don't blame me if that fellow foolishly provokes me. That's good. Lan Ming was relieved after hearing Leng Ruoxue's promise because he knew that she wasn't someone who liked to cause trouble. Old Lan, when will they send people? Leng Ruoxue asked. They should be here in an hour. It's enough for us to have breakfast in the dining hall. Lan Ming looked at the time. Then let's go. Leng Ruoxue said. Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived at the restaurant on the first floor and deliberately found a window seat. But an annoying voice sounded in their ears just as they sat down. Yo, isn't this President Lan? I heard that people from your Windless City's Mystic Association can finally participate in the competition this year, a frivolous voice said provocatively. But no one bothered with him. We haven't seen each other for so long, but I didn't hear anything about you becoming a mute, President Lan. What? Are these mystics you brought also mute? Zhou Kun, who was standing by their table, endured his anger and continued provoking. Humph. He didn't believe that Lan Ming wouldn't get angry. No one will think you're a mute if you don't speak, old Zhao said indifferently with his head lowered. How dare you? How dare you offend your superiors? Do you know who I am? Zhou Kun roared furiously. No one had dared to speak to him like this before. This old man was dead for sure. Leng Ruoxue looked up with slight displeasure and glanced indifferently at the man standing in front of their table. This greasy-looking asshole must be Zhou Kun. Zhou Kun was about 30 years old. He was considered handsome but a little too effeminate. There was a brutal aura between his eyebrows, and his strength should be on par with Lan Ming's. But this bearing. It was totally different from Lan Ming's. Chapter 361, Provocation, 4, You didn't even tell us your family name. How would we know who you are? Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Humph. Ugly monsters, listen up. I am Zhou Kun, the president of Sun Zhou City's Mystic Association. Our Sun Zhou City is one of the 3 main cities and isn't something a small windless city can compare with, Zhou Kun said with a face full of pride, but he felt a little nauseous inside. Damn. Why are these people so ugly? Where did Lan Ming find them? So it's President Zhou. I've heard a lot about you, Leng Ruoxue said with a fake smile. You know me? Zhou Kun asked in surprise. He didn't expect his name to spread to Windless City, that remote place Windless City. He was really proud. Of course. Everyone knows that President Zhou is the most promising person in the Mystic Association. How is it possible for me not to hear of your name? Leng Ruoxue said with an admiring smile. Ah. I have something to do, so I'll take my leave first. Zhou Kun looked at the incomparably ugly woman in front of him who was actually looking at him with admiration. He was shocked. He even felt that he would vomit if he stayed any longer. Damn, it's really too disgusting. Lass, you scared him, old Zhao teased with a smile as he watched Zhou Kun run away from their table as though he was fleeing for his life. Hee hee, this girl is really too evil. Lass, you're amazing. Lan Ming looked at Leng Ruoxue with admiration and praise. Don't worship me. I'm a legend. Leng Ruoxue smiled mischievously. Swear, you actually smiled at another man just now. Boo-hoo, just this once. There won't be a next time. Freak's jealousy rose once again as he pouted in dissatisfaction. Leng Ruoxue hugged Freak's neck and kissed him heavily on the lips without hesitation, coaxing him to smile again. At this moment, the innkeeper walked to their side and said carefully, President Lan, the people from headquarters have arrived. Let's go. Lan Ming said directly to Leng Ruoxue and the others without even looking at the innkeeper. Leng Ruoxue and the others nodded, then stood up and walked directly to the entrance. Outside the inn, two enormous flying spirit beasts landed on the street and even blocked the traffic. I don't want to share a spirit beast with these ugly monsters. An unruly voice sounded somewhat ear-piercing on the street. Leng Ruoxue and the others heard this voice as soon as they exited the inn and looked at the owner of the voice in unison. The owner of the voice was in her 20s, had a face as beautiful as peach blossoms, a sexy and enchanting figure, a tall figure, and an outstanding temperament. She was definitely a rare great beauty on the surface, but her character was not flattering. Lan Ming lowered his voice and said to Leng Ruoxue and the others, she is the little princess of the Sun family, Sun Meilin. So she's from the Sun family. No wonder. Leng Ruoxue said with a spurious smile, her eyes shining with several cold lights. Lass, you better not provoke her now. She's very favored in the Sun family, Lan Ming reminded with a frown. Old Lan, aren't you mistaken? Did I provoke her? Leng Ruoxue asked with ill intentions. In short, you should stay away from her now. Don't go head-on with her, Lan Ming said worriedly. Alas. This girl's vengeful nature sometimes gave people quite a headache. Old Lan, you like to compromise too much. I can't bear to be wronged, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile, but the coldness in her eyes grew denser. Lan Ming sighed softly and said helplessly, alas. There's nothing we can do. Being in a large family, we have to be able to tolerate things. Swear, should we go over? Freak asked as he gently hugged Leng Ruoxue's waist. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue nodded slightly. Leng Ruoxue and the others walked toward the two enormous spirit beasts. Ugly monsters, stay away from me. Sun Meilin's beautiful face was full of disgust. At least you know your place. Leng Ruoxue nodded in satisfaction. What do you mean by that? Sun Meilin, who was already sitting on the spirit beast's back, questioned furiously. Literally. Leng Ruoxue glanced at Sun Meilin with her watery eyes and smiled faintly. Don't you understand? What she means is that you know yourself well. You are too ugly to be seen, Freak explained very kindly. You two ugly monsters dare to say that I'm ugly. I'm the second most beautiful woman on the boundless heaven continent. Damn it. What sort of eyes do you have? Sun Meilin immediately lost her composure when she heard someone say that she was ugly. What she was most proud of was her appearance. But these two incomparably ugly monsters actually said that she was ugly. How could she bear it? Second most beautiful. You're not the most beautiful. What's there to be proud of? Besides, the ugliness I'm talking about is your heart, not your face, Leng Ruoxue said with slight mockery. She really didn't understand why there were beauty rankings everywhere she went. She hated such beauty rankings the most because, in her opinion, they were just rankings developed by some boring stinky men to satisfy their personal desires. Any intelligent woman wouldn't care about these rankings. You. Damn it. Do you know what you're saying? I won't let you go, Sun Meilin roared in anger. Image. Image. Aren't you the second most beautiful woman? You have to take note of your image. Don't let others see your true appearance, or it will make people lose their appetite, Leng Ruoxue reminded with a naughty smile. Hearing this, Sun Meilin actually looked around. She was slightly relieved when she saw that there were few people on the street. Humph. Although this ugly monster is an eyesore, she has a point. I truly have to take care of my image. I'll deal with this ugly monster when I have the chance in the future. Now far away, Lan Ming heard what Leng Ruoxue said and broke out in a cold sweat. Alas! This girl really can't tolerate a grain of sand in her eyes. Old Lan, let's go. Leng Ruoxue naturally couldn't be bothered with Sun Meilin when she saw that she was silent. She got onto the back of the other spirit beast. Chapter 362, The Mysterious Man, 1, Freak and the others climbed onto it as well, with Lan Ming being the last. President Lan, we're about to set off, a person sent by the Mystic Association headquarters on the spirit beast said respectfully. He had seen the short exchange just now, so he didn't dare to underestimate these ugly people at all. Alas! They weren't even afraid of the little princess of the Sun family, so of course they wouldn't take him seriously. Let's go. Lan Ming nodded lightly. After hearing this, the person from headquarters immediately piloted the spirit beast to flew up slowly. Leng Ruoxue half leaned on Freak while lying on the back of the enormous spirit beast. This spirit beast was a griffin, a flying spirit beast unique to the boundless heaven continent. Although Griffin's level wasn't high, and its flying speed wasn't the fastest, its advantage was that it was large enough, stable, and comfortable. So it could be considered the most popular flying spirit beast on the boundless heaven continent. Old Lan, sitting on this griffin is so much more comfortable than sitting on your Jin Hui, Leng Ruoxue said with her eyes closed. But how can a griffin's speed compare to my Jin Hui? Lan Ming refused to be outdone. He didn't want his beast to be looked down upon by this little girl. Jin Hui's back is too hard. So what if he flies fast? Comfort is the most important, Leng Ruoxue said disapprovingly. Lass, you really don't know how lucky you are. My Jin Hui is very proud. Usually, no one is allowed to sit on his back except me. Lan Ming had an expression as if she had taken a huge advantage. Is that so? Leng Ruoxue said lightly. She narrowed her eyes and looked at the other griffin flying side by side with them. The people sitting on the griffin were all people brought by Zhou Kun. But the little princess of the Sun family had a stern face, and she didn't utter a word no matter how Zhou Kun spoke. Obviously, she was very angry just now. Hee hee. Lan Ming followed Leng Ruoxue's gaze and couldn't help saying worriedly, Lass, be careful from now on since you've provoked her. Old Lan, you're mistaken. I didn't provoke her, Leng Ruoxue corrected. She had never been a person who liked to cause trouble. If others didn't provoke her, she would never take the initiative to provoke them. Anyway, just be careful in the future. Lan Ming couldn't be bothered to argue with Leng Ruoxue. He knew that he couldn't win against her. Old Lan, I know my limits. You should worry more for yourself. Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. When Lan Ming arrived at the Mystic Association headquarters, his days would definitely not be good. Alas! He had an irresponsible master who couldn't even protect his own disciple. I'm prepared. Lan Ming shrugged nonchalantly. That's great. Leng Ruoxue closed her eyes and took a nap. After flying for about 3 hours, they finally reached Carefree City, where the Mystic Association headquarters was. The Mystic Association headquarters and the Alchemist Association headquarters were both located in Carefree City. This city was only smaller than the 3 main cities. However, ordinary people were not allowed to enter Carefree City. The prerequisite to enter Carefree City was being a mystic or an alchemist. Of course, people from the other 2 major associations, the Artificer Association and the Beast Trainer Association, could also enter the city, but they had to have identification. The 2 enormous griffins flew directly into Carefree City and landed in front of the Mystic Association headquarters. President Lan, please wait here for a moment. Someone will bring you to your residence later, the person who brought them said respectfully. Okay, Lan Ming answered. Leng Ruoxue and the others jumped off the griffin's back and waited directly at the entrance of the Mystic Association. At this moment, an attendant walked out of the Mystic Association. After seeing the 2 groups of people, the attendant went directly to Zhou Kun and his group, bowed, and said very respectfully, President Zhou, you're finally here. President Wu missed you 2 days ago. Come in with me quickly. Okay, please lead the way, Zhou Kun said very gentlemanly. President Zhou, Miss Sun, this way please, the attendant said respectfully. He completely ignored Leng Ruoxue and the others and directly led Zhou Kun's group into the main entrance of the headquarters. When Zhou Kun and his group passed by Lan Ming and the others, they deliberately glanced at them provocatively before swaggering into the Mystic Association. Leng Ruoxue and the others were completely ignored. Damn, these snobs. I've never been treated like this before. Old Zhao couldn't help cursing. Why bother with a dog? Leng Ruoxue said calmly without any anger on her face. Lass, aren't you angry? Old Zhao asked in disbelief. When did this girl's temper become so good? Leng Ruoxue looked at Lan Ming with incomparable sympathy and said lightly, it was expected. What's there to fuss about? I'm sorry. I'm too useless, Lan Ming said guiltily. Alas. He might be impressive in the eyes of outsiders, but it was the vice president's world at the headquarters. He had always been the one being suppressed. Now, Leng Ruoxue and the others were also implicated by him. This isn't your fault. You don't have to blame yourself, Leng Ruoxue comforted. In her opinion, the Mystic Association headquarters had become what it was today because of Lan Ming's irresponsible master. He was the one who created an opportunity for the ambitious vice president to develop his faction. Hey, since no one cares about us, let's enter by ourselves. It's not a good idea to stand on the street. Lin Liang said. He didn't want to be treated as a clown for onlookers to watch. Okay, let's enter. Lan Ming took a deep breath and decided. Although this wasn't in line with the rules of the Mystic Association headquarters, he couldn't let Leng Ruoxue and the others stand outside forever. Leng Ruoxue and the others nodded. They pushed open the main door of the headquarters and walked in directly. Who dares to trespass into the Mystic Association headquarters? A loud shout sounded in everyone's ears. In the blink of an eye, Leng Ruoxue and the others were surrounded by a group of mystics. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.